We're in the Ream pre-game warm-up. Installer Ream, Australia's #1 in hot water. Just recapping the results from earlier today. West Coast Eagles winning by 25 points over the Giants, and Carlton winning by 13 over Essendon. As it stands at the moment, Melbourne 4-5-29 leading the way over the Gold Coast Suns at the moment, who 23. So we've got just before quarter time in that game as well, and a couple of games coming up tonight. So for his final thoughts on tonight's game, Darryl Wakeland's our Red Energy expert today. Red Energy, 100% Aussie electricity and gas company. Who's winning, Wakes, and why?
I'd hate to go against my heart, but I think Adelaide by at least 4 goal. I think they've got the structure and the confidence at the moment, and it's going to be a long way for Port Adelaide to turn around the form, that just horrid form last week over at the West Coast against the West Coast. So 4 goal, 24 points, Adelaide.
BP?
Yeah, I think Port will stand up today. I like the inclusions, and they need to make a statement. I reckon we'll know probably in the first 20 minutes or so. And contested ball doesn't always guarantee you win the game, but they want to make a statement early here, Port Adelaide. So I think just with the bigger bodies coming in, I think Port are going to lift to the occasion here, and Richie would be very, very happy, Jack, because it'd square it up at 22 apiece.
It would. It'd be absolutely spot on, wouldn't it? It'd be fantastic.
And I think Don Pike will be coming out and say, Port are going to come out absolutely breathing fire. If you can hold out for the first quarter and a bit, and then get back in the groove, and that'll be the message Don Pike will be sending, because no doubt Port Adelaide will come out revving, but will they be able to sustain their structure and their intensity, and especially inside, against that quality Adelaide midfield?
It's funny, we're talking about a team who are third on the table, but are the Crows just getting their work done under the radar a little bit at the moment?
Yeah, well, to be banking games like they have, bank 4 of the last 5, that. You take that any day of the week, don't you? And they're sitting third on the ladder, and they certainly haven't played their best football, and they've got players to come back. So that's a pretty good sign to me.
Quarter time at the Gabba, Melbourne 4-5-29 leading the Gold Coast 3-5-23. That's the other live game for Kubota's Autumn Catalogue, as we will update you around the grounds this afternoon, Jack.
Yeah, we're not too far away from the bounce here, BP, and we're just about set for the toss as well. Travis Boak and Taylor Walker coming to the middle of the Adelaide Oval. Massive crowd. We look directly across from us at the stands on the other side, the Rashudo stand, the Williams stand, Bashir, Oti and Wanganeen stands. They're right the way up the top.
Look at the hill. You couldn't wedged in.
You couldn't cram another human on that hill at the moment. It is absolutely jam-packed. And we've had the toss, and now 60 seconds until game time. The strains of In Excess belt out around the Adelaide Oval. It's a Port Adelaide home game. Take this in. Brilliant the way they do it. Absolutely brilliant the way that Port Adelaide build up to a game.
Goosebumps.
Oh. The music stopped. It's on in the middle before it even starts. The opening bounce is for Tyre Power, your top of the ladder tyre team. AFL Nation, Saturday Twilight Football. Here's Brett Phillips.
Showdown number 44. One of the great games on the footy calendar. Huge for both teams. Adelaide third, and Port looking to get back in the top 8. It's going to be Jacobs, it's going to be Ryder. Wasn't a great bounce by the umpire. Jacobs won the tap. Now they can go forward through Ebert, who hacks a kick towards half forward. Need read it beautifully. Well, then he had his handball cut off there by Andy Ott, and they pile in about 40 metres out from the Port Adelaide goal, and we'll have a bounce.
Well, the skipper Boak starting in there head-to-head with Crouch. Watch that matchup. Expecting him to go across to Douglas at some stage as well.
Right over the top of Jacobs, and they pile in again here. Crows through Matt Crouch. Well, Atkins had his kick partially smothered. 30 metres out from the Port Adelaide goal. Laird didn't get a convincing kick away. Oh, Boak's brought down a really strong tackle. Now Sam Gray gets a little kick on the boot. Inside 50. It just went the required distance. Ryder on the end of it. And he's going to line up 40 metres out directly in front.
Well, both sides bringing plenty of heat. Unusual to see Laird do what he did there. It was just a quick kick, throw it on the boot. He actually had time and space to be able to get a flicker handball out. But that's the heat you're going to get in a showdown in the first couple minutes.
Paddy Ryder, second game back from injury. Can he make an early statement here for Port Adelaide? As Jack said, it's just about a full house. Probably a few more streaming in late. Showdown number 44. Port Adelaide would love the first goal. And he's drilled it home. And they'll come from everywhere. It's a Port home game. They're here in their thousands. One straight. They lead Adelaide yet to score. That is on the Big Four Holiday Park scoreboard. Here's Daryl Wakeland on AFL Nation.
Yeah, amazing, isn't it? There's some good energy out there, all getting around each other. Sometimes you see it as a conscious thing, and we'll know that after the first 20 or so minutes whether Port Adelaide can actually sustain this intensity. Great signs early, though. They got it in their forward half. They were able to retain it. Quick kick out. Ryder on the end of it getting forward. I like the fact that he got forward, so good signs early for Port Adelaide.
That is as ferocious an opening minute of footy as we have seen this year. AFL Nation for Liquorland. We've got a drink for that. Power draw first blood. Ryder in the ruck against Jacobs. Taps down to Crouch. He's tackled. Alice Yeoman diving in over the footy, and he's brought down as well. Secondary ball up in the middle.
Well, Howard taking Walker deep. Homch going head-to-head with Jenkins. And as we sort of half expected, even earlier, Jonas taking bets.
Wakes is here for Red Energy, 100% Australian. That's almost the throw to Douglas. He just got a kick on it, and Gibbs slapped it forward. 55 metres out from goal. McGovern couldn't take it with him. Jenkins dispossessed. Boak off to Wines, and then kicks out into vacant space. Now it's a foot race. First to arrive is Otten, but he was bumped off the football. Little toe poke from Powell Pepper was good. He pushes once again and gets possession, but it's juggled over the line. But good signs for Port Adelaide in the first couple of minutes. 3 minutes gone on the Ray White clock. They're 1-6, Crows yet to score.
Good sign, Wingard there too. He ran the whole 60 metres, had his skates on.
Hamstring looks to be in good nick. Back after only 2 weeks. Throw in. Ryder, Jacobs, strong Wines. Darcy Burns-Jones got a little kick towards half forward. Thumped away Otten on Powell Pepper. Then Laird extracts, as he will do, off half back plenty of times today. Tough one around the ankles here for Jenkins. Keeping it alive just inside the boundary line now. It'll trickle over and we'll have it thrown in. Half forward for the Crows. Port with the opening goal. 1 straight. Adelaide yet to score. That's on the Big Four Holiday Park scoreboard. The home of great breaks underway in the second quarter at the Gabba. It's Melbourne 6-point leaders over the Gold Coast.
Predictably, Talia taking Dixon at the other end.
Slap forward by Adelaide, but Burn-Jones there for the power. Handballs off to Westhoff at half back. Ebert has to be quick. Back to Wines, working in tight spaces. Ebert kicks around the corner once again. It's gathered first by Jacobs of the Crows, then off to Crouch. It was a hurried kick forward, but it worked out okay. Marked by Cam Ellis-Yeoman. He's too far out to score, but he pops it up to the marking area. Walker hits the pack hard, unable to take the mark. Gray bumped off the football. Good pressure from the Crows. Atkins swoops. Atkins goals. Terrific forward pressure from the Crows, and they make it work. And they get their first of the afternoon. They're 1-6. Port Adelaide 1-6. And that's all on the Big Four Holiday Park scoreboard.
It was huge pressure from Douglas on Sam Gray. Caused the spillage. They were out there, Port Adelaide. Clever in the end by Atkins on the left. He's got some class. He makes so much time of it, doesn't he? And on that occasion, they evened up the score.
Yep, who are queuing up there on the Chemist Warehouse replay. The real house of fragrances, Chemist Warehouse. I'm sure you can feel the tension around the ground. Pulsating start here. A goal apiece. Jacobs and Ryder, one of the key matchups spoken about leading in. They'll both win their fair share of hit-outs. It was Ryder with a nice jump. Ellis Yeoman was at the drop. Little toe poke forward here from Douglas. Outstretched hand of Betts. Couldn't gather. Then a little toe poke forward, but they'll mop up here. Port Adelaide. Sam Gray to Cleary. Half volley ball here for Robbie Gray. Charges at the footy. Back to Cleary. Now back to Pollock. Hasn't got his left foot to go on. Back to Sam Gray. Working in very tight confines. Port Adelaide. They'll lose it though. Straight to Atkins, who gave it to Ellis Yeoman. Quick kick inside forward 50. Now the ball will be in the hands of Port Adelaide as they gather and switch across the ground. Westhoff to Powell Pepper.
He's just got to hold it up for a moment. Eventually found a way through. Got a handball onto Westhoff, who runs his full measure to half forward. Wingard will get our first look at that hamstring. Brought it to ground. Dixon for Port Adelaide. He's tackled. Got his handball away, and then Ebert handballed it out of bounds. Throw in outer side wing. Nearly 7 minutes gone in this opening quarter. One straight 6 apiece on the Big Four Holiday Park scoreboard.
Perfectly played there by Brown back on Wingard. He had the sit on him. Couldn't quite, needed to get the knee in and take that mark.
Ryder worked his way to the front. Here's the Hoff at the drop. Did nicely. Burn-Jones. Rockcliffe for the little handball. Powell Pepper trying to work his way through the traffic. Back to Burn-Jones. And now kicks towards the 50. They hit the pack hard. It was Otten. It was Boak. Wingard. And that sandwich of players that goes out of bounds right on 50 here for Port. We'll have it tossed in. Big Four Holiday Park scoreboard. One straight apiece. And showdown number 44. It's Melbourne by 9 points over the Gold Coast. Early stages of the second quarter. Good hands from Rockcliffe. Back to Westhoff, who threw it on the boot inside forward 50. But as he so often does, Rory Laird with a little intercept mark, and the Crows can build.
How much footy is he finding this year, Rory Laird? As you mentioned, BP, number 2 in the competition for disposals. Number 3 for rebound 50s. And there's another exit from 50 from the Crows. Jacobs was the marking target. It's off his hands, and it's out of bounds.
Yeah, big numbers, Jack, isn't it? And he's probably been the most consistent player, the top handful of most consistent players in the league over the last 3 years. All Australians, class player.
And another one of those terrific rookie stories that Adelaide have been able to unearth in the last 10 years. Lynch, that's Tom Lynch, tackled. Handball away to Gibbs, who was dumped. Powell Pepper had him. Need and Burn-Jones just made a bit of a mess of it. Adelaide get their hands on the football. Seedsman high up and under ball. Contest between Walker and Howard. And Howard does his job, gets it out of bounds. Throw in 45 metres around from the Crows' goal.
I like that matchup. Howard on Walker. He's got some speed, Howard. And players who have speed on Walker, they do worry him.
Umpire reloads from the boundary throw-in. Jacobs had front position. Ball spilled over the back here to Polak, who'll try and build something here for Port. Off half-back with that trusty left boot. Wingard hit the pack hard. And there's going to be a free kick plucked out. It'll go to Wingard. And just got a little bit of interference at a 50. Which won't please the coach, Don Pike. We'll get a look at that on the Chemist's Warehouse replay.
I think we keep an eye on that. I think it was a knee in the back of the head. Trying to catch who that was. Certainly he's holding it, Sam Gray.
Yeah, he's got maybe a little bit of claret. Ball inside forward 50. Knocked away from Robbie Gray. Now the Crows look to build through Atkins. A little short one to Lynch. Lynch comes dangerously back into the middle. Fortune so the numbers with the Crows. Gives his kick a little errant though. He was looking for Walker, didn't find him. We'll have it thrown in. And Sam Gray is coming off. He's got a little white towel in his hand, so he's caught one for good measure there. We'll keep an eye on that. We'll have it tossed in, so it's a goal apiece in the showdown. We've ticked over 10 minutes on the Ray White clock.
Sam Gray just checking out for a moment, all thanks to Spitwater high pressure cleaners. So deadlocked at 6 apiece. Umpire waits and will throw it in right in front of us. Wing position, Adelaide Oval. Absolute capacity. Terrific feeling in here as Jacobs wins the ruck, spirals it forward. A good mark taken for the Crows by Jonas. It's become, for the Power, sorry, I should say. So reliable down back. Just inboard to Houston. Thought he played pretty well last week. 24 disposals in what was a pretty ordinary performance from the Power. Kicks a low ball, not a good ball as well. Mark's taken by Otten, and he gets that momentum going forward. He lays off to Crouch, who looks towards the pocket. Betts was his target, and it's out of bounds on the full.
So Port to put it back into play. Game's just settled here for the moment. Houston works it up the line. Ryder comes hard, takes a nice mark. Glenn Cameron can do. Mark of the day. Short kick inside to Robbie Gray. Wants to get things moving. Really transfer the footy to Burn-Jones. Cuts a path back through the middle. Little short ball hits up Jack Watts. Right in the middle of the Adelaide Oval. Leading a big game in the showdown, Jack Watts. He's just going to square the ball. Crows predominantly got their numbers behind the footy at the moment. To Jonas, now to Westhoff. Series of short kicks here for Port Adelaide to Polak, who loves to wheel and go on that left. He keeps it low, beautifully measured just outside the stretched arm there of Power Pepper. Almost hit him lace out, but Port have got it inside 50. We'll have it thrown in, a goal apiece.
Well, they've done well here, Port Adelaide, just to be able to get it in their forward half again. Adelaide were really pressuring there. Could have at least had 2 opportunities going forward to get a scoring shot, but Port Adelaide have held the nerve.
AFL Nation for the McDouble burger. Only $3 at Macca's. Polek, 50 out from goal, took them on. Just handballed over his head and into space. It fell fortuitously. Rockcliffe toe pokes it towards goal, but back there, Luke Brown read the cues pretty well and chops it off for the Crows. 6 apiece. 11 minutes played on the Ray White clock. Brown plays the outer side. Pinpoints a target, does it nicely. Adelaide just continue to come off half back. What are the tackle numbers, Wakes, when you get a moment? It's all thanks to Simmons Holmes. Target further ahead, Lynch, who just didn't jump for it in the end, didn't realise that it was for him, and Jonas just bats it out of bounds for a throw in. Coming up to 12 minutes played in this opening quarter. AFL Nation for Liquorland. We've got a drink for that. Here's Brett Phillips. Umpired
at reload, right on centre wing. Far side from our commentary box. Westhoff trying to climb over the top of Jacobs. Wines hit the pack really hard. A bit of soreness during the week. We'll monitor him. Now they start to really pile in. Greenwood over the top. A wrecking ball, of course, the best tackler for Adelaide this season.
Big numbers, Jack, there. 10 tackles Port Adelaide, 4 to Adelaide. Importantly, 2 tackles inside 50 for Port Adelaide. Good signs.
Simmons Holmes since 1949. Now the Crows looking to build from the wing. Jacobs, Seedsman. Now back to Duday, who kicks towards half forward. Just goes over the head there of Jenkins, looking for a runner. Trapped here by Jonas, ever reliable just inside the boundary line. He fed it along to Homsch. Byrne-Jones working the very tight confines of the boundary line. Will he mark just inside? He hasn't. So it goes out of bounds on the full. They were threading a very thin needle there, Jack, and the Crows with an opportunity to go again. Still a goal apiece.
That's all on the Big Four Holiday Park scoreboard. Greenwood got to the front. Good mark. 60 metres out from goal. He could just about get the journey from here. He set sail, but he was completely inaccurate and out of bounds on the full. And missed opportunity for the Crows. 13 minutes played in this opening quarter.
Sam Gray looks okay for Spitwater high pressure cleaners after copying that knock, prepared to come back on.
Greenwood's got it again. Marks the exit kick. A similar distance. I get the feeling this time he won't go for goal. He sets it up. Jenkins got to the front and marks. He was able to run uncontested at the footy, and when he's got those big arms stretched out, he's a hard man to stop.
Went clever in the end by Jenkins, but you just cannot give a forward with the ability that he has a free run at it like that. We'll watch on the replay and he may have got a block there in the end, Homsch, but just not good enough. They've stretched him back there and they're playing him deep.
5th in the competition for marks inside 50. He's kicked his 15th goal of the year. Adelaide take an early advantage in showdown 44. They're 2 straight 12. Port Adelaide 1 straight 6. And we've been playing 14 minutes on the Big Four Holiday Park scoreboard.
Well, caught napping in the end, wasn't it? And not good enough there by Wines. Geez, just needs more intensity, more at the ball. As we said, Greenwood, just class. He does some special things at times. He plays that tall, like he took them last couple of marks like he's a 6'4" centre forward, but great ability to be able to lead it. Strong over the footy. Huge signs.
AFL Nation for the McDouble burger for only $3 at Macca's. Crows 2 straight. Port Adelaide 1 straight. You're in a big showdown. Full house at the Adelaide Oval. Ryder climbing into Jenkins. He's given away the free kick. Just a little too hard there, Paddy Ryder. So Jenkins measures a little short one. Atkins looking to run and go. He's looking for a handball receiver. He'll go back to the big man Jenkins, who's going to hit towards the top of the square. Went over the head there of Walker. Here's Jonas right on the last line of defence. Always so sure in the air and on the ground. Gave it to Cleary. 1-on-1, Sam Gray. Just can't quite keep his footing. Then pushed off the footy. Still a chance for Adelaide. Otten back to Atkins. He'll hit the top of the square again here for the Crows. Down for the high flyers. Eddie looking for a crumb over the back. Wines trying to claim the mark. There's Gallucci with some good pressure too at ground level. Bit of push and shove going on. Bit of feeling. We're deep in the left forward pocket for the Crows. We'll have it tossed in. 2 straight. Port 1 straight. That's on the Big 4 Holiday Park scoreboard.
As we approach 16 minutes played, Crows are just starting to build a bit of momentum here. Ryder taps it down. Gibbs was driving by and almost took it with him. And the Crows will bottle it up, get another stoppage inside 50.
They've got a lot of very good B pluses, haven't they, Adelaide? And they all, Gallucci's come in, he's shown some excellent energy this year. And we spoke about Atkins, Douglas having an outstanding season.
This time Gibbs wins the clearance. Handball's back, Seedsman's got time. He snaps around the corner, he won't register a score, and it's off the hands of Cleary and over for a throw in right forward pocket. 2 straight 12 the Crows. Port Adelaide 1 straight 6 earlier today. Around the grounds for Kubota's autumn catalogue. Sydney, last night winning by 8 points. West Coast by 25. And Carlton by 13. Kick off the ground, touched. Tom Cleary is the goalkeeper. Manages to just swat that one wide for a behind.
And they're quick to go from the kick in. Port Adelaide, Houston in short to Bonner. 2-1 plays 1 straight. An early goal to Paddy Ryder, but certainly a lot more forward half action for the Crows as this quarter has gone long. Another short one to Jonas, so they're hemmed in the back pocket here, the Power. Close to the man on the mark. He's just forced to kick up the line. Westhoff trying to create a contest. He does in the air against Duday, and it goes out of bounds. Good result for the Crows. Have not allowed that early quick exit for Port Adelaide, Wakes.
Yeah, they're really holding it, getting repeated scores. They're up to 10 inside 50s now. They've already had the 4 shots, Adelaide, so really their efficiency when they do go inside 50 is very high.
Here's Robbie Gray, just a little fumble. Allows Greenwood in. Had his kick smothered. Ricochets to Lynch. Now a chance. Back to Jenkins. Miscues. Out of bounds on the full. And a relieving kick here for Port Adelaide. 2-1-13 the Crows. Port 1 straight. Big 4 Holiday Park scoreboard. And it is the Gold Coast at 5-6-36 leading Melbourne 5-2-32 around the grounds for Kubota's autumn catalogue.
Well, it's been a day of upsets already. That's a good mark taken by Ollie Wines. Strong in the contest. Got a bit of a clip around the ear from Douglas as he took that mark on defensive 50 as well. He's got a kick inboard. There's some risk associated. Marks taken by Houston. And away they go. Robbie Gray into open space. Need was run under the football, but once it hits the ground, he's dangerous. Good body work though. Nicely done from Duday. The handball misses a target. Laird ripped off it, and that'll be a free kick. Just a bit too obvious from Jack Watts with that tackle. And Laird played it beautifully, and now it'll be 50. He summed that situation up perfectly, Wakes.
Played him like a banjo, didn't he? He knew exactly what he was doing, Rory Laird.
He did.
Such a clever player.
Like one of those blokes busking on the bridge on the way over. So Tom Lynch on the wing. Wheels around. He's got a 2-on-2 inside 50. Jenkins has it fisted away from him by Ryder. Now Walker at ground level. The fend off and the finish from Tex. Kotaya goal of the day from the skipper. Back into the team today. And gee, the Crows look good here in the showdown. 3-1-19. Port Adelaide 1 straight 6. 20 minutes played.
Caught ball watching there. Dougal Howard in the end. And clever. Tex knows he was there. He's an opportunist. What a fend off it was. Not the prettiest of kicks, but a clever little one off the outside of the foot. One-handed drop and a very, very good goal. 3-1 to Adelaide from their 11 inside 50s. Scoring efficiency starting to go through the roof.
They look good, AFL Nation, for the McDouble burger for only $3 at Macca's, and Liquorland. We've got a drink for that. Crows in the last 10 minutes certainly making a statement. One down by Ryder, sharked here by Ebert, who kicks towards half forward. It'll be all the Crows. Laird chops it off. And now they can build again. Duday out to Brown. Crows controlling the footy. What are their numbers possession-wise? Wakes for Simmons Holmes. Overall numbers, because as we said before the game, they get their hands on the ball a lot, and you feel like they're really dominating at the moment. that kick towards half forward.
Port Adelaide had more of the possession. That's 69 disposals to Adelaide's 57.
There you go.
Having a lot of uncontested possessions, Port Adelaide,
Yep.
44 to 28, but just a lot of inefficient possessions, not moving it forward with any speed or authority whatsoever.
Crows by 13 points in the showdown here on AFL Nation. Ryder with the palm down. Umpires plucked out a free kick, and the advantage is going to go to the Crows, to Matt Crouch, who pulls it across the body, top of the square, and a mark to McGovern. And this should be bread and butter stuff for Mitch McGovern, 35 out directly in front.
At the time, I mean, you could see where he was going to kick it. We could see what was happening up here. There's plenty of space in front of him, but no one coming through and chopping that off. Poor defence by Port Adelaide.
So McGovern looking for his 12th goal of the season. This would give Adelaide a nice little buffer in this opening quarter. The crowd tells the story. They're flying the Crows right now, 4-1-25. Port Adelaide won straight. That's on the Big Four Holiday Park scoreboard. All singles, Jenkins, Walker, Atkins and now McGovern.
Port Adelaide really turning in the screws, aren't they, early in this game? Like we said, they've had the six shots from 12 inside 50s now. They actually got the 4-goal one. They had a missed opportunity that went on the full. So they're really starting to pepper at the goals. Anytime you have 6 shots on goal early in this game, there's still at least another 10 minutes left in this first quarter.
And Wakes, it's all of their prime movers, the Crows, who are getting their hands on the footy, isn't it?
It is, and we're talking about Crouch, Atkins, Laird. We spoke about the consistency of him down back, all on 6 possessions, really racking them up.
AFL Nation for Liquorland. We've got a drink for that. Crows were away, but only for a moment. They've been held up inside the centre square by Port Adelaide. McKay kicked it off the ground. Waiting there was Gray. That's Sam Gray, who's back on. His kick smothered. Great desperation from Greenwood. They're hungry at the moment, Adelaide. Atkins on the outer side. Flips it off by hand to Laird. He drives and looks for Walker, who got up, unable to mark. Betts with the crumb. Handballs to Gallucci. Now back to Eddie. 50 metres out from goal. It's a wonderful kick that was weighted. But just unable to make it work was Miles Paholke. They look frightening at the moment.
Oh, how good was that from Eddie? Just read it off the hands beautifully.
Just vintage, wasn't it? Absolute vintage.
Oh, we love that when we go back through the annals and the small men who, KB and so many others who did that at will. So they're once again going to try and find a way out. They're back 50 here. Port Adelaide. Bonner's gone all the way across the ground to Burn Jones in the back pocket. Just hemmed in here. Short back to Riley Bonner, who now goes on that penetrating left boot, trying to use his body, Dixon, to get to the footy. Westhoff doing it nicely at ground level. Good ball inboard to Rockcliffe. And they build something from here. Wants a runner. Westhoff is a little bit stationary to go back to Rockcliffe. Now to Powell Pepper. He'll only want to charge through and take them all on. Powell Pepper dying to play some AFL footy again. He's going to hit the top of the square with the kick. Watts. Here's Motlop over the back. Left, right. Now back on his right. Can he kick a miraculous goal? Motlop. He just bent a little bit too narrow. That would have lifted Port Adelaide. Big Four Holiday Park scoreboard. Just their second scoring shot, Port. 1-1-7. Adelaide 4-2-26.
Need more of that from Motlop. Need a repeat forward entry here. Need to get this straight back, Port Adelaide. I'd like to see him go one-on-one. Really lock this game down.
24 minutes played on the Big Four Holiday Park scoreboard. And it's the Crows who lead the way by 19 points. So they come out of defence with pack forms. Ryder unable to mark, but there's his opponent, Jacobs. Nice little handball off to Atkins, and then out to Betts, who's in space on the wing. Brings it back in ball to Gallucci. He was wrapped up immediately. The kick didn't do him any favours, and now he's got a problem.
That's harsh, isn't it? That's a tough one. He nailed him.
Yep.
He gave him no time whatsoever.
But was here.
Chemist Warehouse replay. Not a lot of prior, as you say, BP. He picked it up and was just mauled. So it's with Bonner on the outer side wing. He's looking for Watts. He couldn't mark. And Otten, who's got the job on him today, fists it out of bounds for a throw in. 24, nearly 25 minutes played in this opening quarter. Crows 4-2-26. Port Adelaide 1-1-7.
Adelaide, they set up so well behind the footy, don't they? They've always got the numbers, very skillful players behind the ball. Get that link-up game going. Port Adelaide looking very boring at the moment.
Ryder flicks it over the back. Burn Jones, Rockcliffe. Now Ebert trying to extract it out. Greenwood coming in along with Matt Crouch. Ball's locked up. Umpire will take it about 55 out from Port Adelaide's goal.
Lots of footy left in this game. Once again, for Simmons home since 1949. Big numbers. Atkins, Laird, Crouch all on 8.
Here's Ebert. Kick to the top of the square for Port Adelaide. Duday. Solid. Gets it over the boundary line. And we'll have it thrown in. Defence standing up for the Crows, who led it by 19 around the grounds at the Gabba. Melbourne 6:10:46. Gold Coast 5:6:36 for Kubota's autumn catalogue. The Bombers, of course, going down to the Blues. West Coast with a big win up in Sydney today. Ebert strong at the footy. Crouch, Gibbs trying to work it out. Gallucci was set upon there by Westhoff. We're still about just outside the 50 arc here for Port Adelaide. Dixon trying to impose himself. Betts trying to gather at ground level. Tough ball to win. Big tackle Gallucci. Burne-Jones slung a really big tackle by Greenwood, who just loves to tackle. And they pile in. Now the umpire's forced to come in and say, boys, I better take it and try and spread this footy.
He got the full tour of the Adelaide Oval, Darcy Burne-Jones, didn't he? Smashed by Hugh Greenwood.
Cop it.
He spoke so well this week, Greenwood.
Yeah.
And on the mark on Fox Footy, dealing with family tragedy, playing good footy at the same time. And chasing after this football, and time to make it work is Houston. He's at half-back. Gee, that kick wasn't great for Rockcliffe, but his pick-up was good. Handballs to Burne-Jones, and there's Houston. Into the middle, misses another target. Adelaide all form in the middle, but they couldn't make it work. Sam Gray hunting. The Crows, just through sheer weight of numbers, were able to win that contest. Laird at right half-back. Down the line. The mark's taken, and Port Adelaide can now rock and roll quickly. Boak had to get a handball away to Ebert. To Watts, just nonchalant really. Pops it over the top to Rockcliffe. Inside the centre square still has Polek. He's 53 metres out from goal. On the run would be a different story from a set shot. So instead, deliberately sets it up. No real target in particular. Gray at ground level, dribbles and kicks it behind, although there's a whistle. Port Adelaide's way. Chemist Warehouse replay might unlock this mystery for us. But it is going to be a power free kick to Sam Gray, right forward pocket.
I mean, Port Adelaide will take this one, but we'll have to check that out on the replay. Might have been one on Robbie Gray a little bit earlier, but certainly it's Sam Gray who now has the shot from about 20 metres out. Slight angle.
He's a finisher. 12 goals for the year. 4 against North Melbourne, 3 against Brisbane. Left foot snap was a shank. It's crawled through for a behind. This is not a good quarter of footy for Port. 1-2-8. Crows 4-2-26. 28 and a half minutes played on the Ray White clock.
So going to be McKay to put it back into play for the Crows. Just goes short into the back pocket. Duday played on. McGovern taking it down low. Big tackle by Westhoff was good. He'll be rewarded. Fierce there on young Gallucci. Important player for Port Adelaide, Justin Westhoff. It's a beautiful kick to Polak. He can get a little bit of momentum up, but not maybe enough. Then put it right on the head of Sam Gray. That just doesn't seem to be that real obvious tall target. Dixon can't work his way to the game at the moment. Crows trying to stand up on the last line. Mightn't get their kick away. Here's Wines, hit his kick smother well on Ellis Yeoman. Then storming through was Powell Pepper to Motlop. He has got the class, he has got the finish, not the elevation in the kick though. That right foot snap across the body and Jenkins' mark on the last line of defence. So that forward half-wake's just not quite getting it done for Port.
Yeah, getting lots of options, haven't we? We saw, even in that first 10 minutes, a couple fall short and Adelaide just on the end of them taking the pressure out of it, taking the marks.
Crows by 3 goals. Inboard kick from Houston. Dangerous. Good mark taken by Ebert. Had to stand under it and wait. Then gives off to the runner in Motlop. Looks out on the lead and finds Sam Gray.
Well, he's the target right now.
He's the focal point. He's 40 metres out from goal. Not long before quarter time.
Well, you've got to go where the numbers aren't. And clever footy. Probably the first clean bit of play we've seen Port Adelaide enter into their inside 50. So good signs. Good to see Sam Gray back on featuring.
Bendix breaks, big moment here for Port Adelaide. Insist on Bendix breaks. If they can get one just before the siren, it would help their cause. Gray gets it all the way to the line. And I think we're setting up for a score review here.
Yep.
Goal umpire has a chat. Drink-wise score review. You won't miss a moment if you drink wise.
Has it shaved any of the post here, or is it just we're debating whether it was touched? We've got the angle right on the goal line.
All the players are setting up for a point.
The ball doesn't look to be fully over the line, does it?
No.
You've got a thumb on it.
So a pretty straightforward one there. Drink-wise, great footy moments. A minor score to Port Adelaide.
So lead to put it back into play. 4-2-26 plays 139. If you're just tuning on the radio on AFL Nation across Australia. Crows lead. It's been a good opening term here. They look to build off half-back once again. Well, that's a good mark taken by Homps right on the wing, but that'll be all she wrote for the opening quarter. And we'll just see if there's any little bit of fireworks. It started with a push and shove. It's settled down now. Crowd right involved in the game. Jenkins, Walker, Atkins and McGovern, the goal kickers for the Crows in the opening quarter, and Paddy Ryder with that early goal for Port Adelaide. Quick thought, Wakes, before we break?
Yeah, certainly fully controlled by Adelaide there. Port Adelaide didn't make the most of their opportunities, but Adelaide just seemed to have plenty more in the engine. They seem to have a lot more class, a lot more time in their hands, making a lot better decisions.
It's the Crows by 17 points. You're listening to AFL Nation for the McDouble Burger, only for $3 at Macca's, and for Liquorland, we've got a drink for that. The Crows are out of the gates first in the showdown. 4-2-26, they lead Port Adelaide 1-3-9. Goal kickers McGovern, Atkins, Walker and Jenkins for Adelaide. For Port Adelaide, their goal kickers through Paddy Ryder is their solitary goal kicker. Darryl Wakeland, two-time premiership player at the Power. They've got some work to do.
They've got a lot of work to do. Port Adelaide actually right up in the possession count, but it always scares me when I see the uncontested marks. 28 Port Adelaide to 17 Adelaide. It just shows that Port Adelaide playing far too conservative, trying to play their keeping off. Just need to go forward, a bit more gun and run, have the confidence to go hard.
Opening bounce for Tyre Power, your top of the ladder tyre team for this second quarter. Ken Hinkley barking the orders at quarter time. Ryder inside 50, just over Power Pepper. We're 40 metres out from Port's goal. They'd love the early goal. That's a great tackle, Jake Need. He should be rewarded, and he will be. And that's what he's in the team for, Wakes. That forward pressure to kick goals.
Well, he spoke, he's not a big numbers player. Just the one touch early in this game. Start the second quarter now, but laid one there. He's an opportunist. He needs to lay at least 6 of them tackles inside 50. Give himself 2 or 3 scoring opportunities.
Well, Ryder got off to a great start in the opening quarter, and they couldn't build from that, but absolutely need this goal, Port Adelaide. He skips past the 50 from 45 directly in front, and he's hooked it to the left for a behind on the Tyre Power Know Your Tyres scoreboard. 139 the Power. It is Adelaide 4-2-26. Half time at the Gabba. It is Melbourne 8-11-59. The Gold Coast 5-7-37. The Kubota Tractors, they get the job done.
So you can just feel almost a bit of the oxygen sucked out of Port Adelaide when Need missed that opportunity. And that's dropping the footy. Good tackle on Homps by Alice Yeoman, who likes to tackle people. Second at the Crows this year for that stat.
Last 3 missed opportunities, Port Adelaide. Very gettable goals. Missed all 3 of them.
They just maintained possession. Early stages of quarter number 2. Douglas inboard to Crouch. Had it 32 times last week against Carlton. And looks sharp. He's had his issues with injury. That was one of his better games. That, not one of his better kicks. Turns it over into the waiting arms of Robbie Gray, who gave it to Polek, then got it back again, kicked around the corner because he didn't have a lot on. And it's all Adelaide. Alice Yeoman, Luxa Fortune. Adelaide can just bang it forward. Walker provides the contest. The ball's on the ground. Howard's got to get back there first. Can defer to Jonas. The ball didn't bounce the way that he wanted to. And he's wrapped up.
Ooh.
No prior, says the umpire. Good tackle by Betts.
I think the umpire had to think about it, didn't he? He pulled it in, he took possession.
Right at their heart in their mouth for a moment, right at the palm down. Gee, nicely done by Gibbs. He got himself to the front of the pack. Ellis Yeoman now back to Eddie. Can he create some magic? Back towards the top of the square with a kick. Douglas and pursuing Jones right on his hammer, and he gets it over the boundary line. Once again, we parked inside forward 50 for the Crows. They led it by 16 points. We've travelled 3 minutes. Ray White clock in this second term.
Well, I need to
do some damage, Wakes.
Looking attacking here. Too dangerous, Adelaide, in this forward 50.
2 forwards go at it right. Was able to get it at ground level. Went back to Westhoff and just put a high up and under. Clears the back 50. Otten with a defensive spoil over the top of Power Pepper. Now they dig in. Wingard. Wines trying to wrestle his way through. Ellis Yeoman tackling once again. Otten then flicked a sweeping handball inside 50. Houston able to gather though for Port Adelaide. He just kicks for open space and the foot race is on at half back. Atkins, Jonas does well. He's got support here from Motlop. Numbers will be with Port Adelaide. Polak, who brings the ball inboard. Tough one down low for Wingard. Their foot disposal not where they want it to be. Then Polak's got to lay a tackle on Laird. Galucci, it's back in the Crows' hands to McKay. Back to Atkins. Little daisy cutter inside 50. Hits up Douglas. And Port just not executing that key kick.
Just not doing the basics well, are they, Brett? On that occasion, Polak brought it back in. It was a little 20-metre lead up. Needed to nail it. Had Motlop on the overlap. Just wasn't able to use Motlop when you can't execute that little kick coming inside.
So Richard Douglas with Needs early miss for Port Adelaide. This would hurt Port if he was able to kick their fifth. As he goes past 50 now. That is as dead-eye straight as you'll get. And the Crows are up and about in the showdown. 5-2-32. Port Adelaide 1-4-10. It is on the Tyre Power Know Your Tyres scoreboard. And of course you can get the power of expert advice at Tyre Power. Here's Darryl Wakeland on AFL Nation.
I just look at Port Adelaide and think, how many lessons do you need? You know, they've got enough experienced players out there. They've been playing long enough. I mean, you've got to build your game on executing the basics, and they just can't do that at the moment for whatever reason. You get a kick like that inside. They had all the play. Jonas had done the whole hard work. They had the numbers, had the weight of numbers on that outer side, and they were off. But once again, we go back, deflating that they've missed that last 3 opportunities, and you go back and Adelaide kick straight.
AFL Nation for Liquorland. We've got a drink for that. Port Adelaide desperately need a goal. Polak found his way into some space. Handballs to Motlop. He brings it out wide. Wines just bangs away to no one in particular. And that should be a mark paid, and it is to Andy Otten. Just been so steady in that back half. Crouch once again for disposal number 11. Adelaide open up that outer side. Atkins. Betts was the man he was looking for. It was fisted away from him. Eddie's just trying to find a way to get involved, but he can't at the moment. Turnover for Port Adelaide. Laird wobbles it forward. Good take on the bounce from Houston. He had to make that work. There were Crows everywhere otherwise. To Jonas and then to Need on the wing.
Takes a bounce. Says to the cavalry upfield, I'm going to put it in your direction. He's taken a second bounce. He measures a little short one into Motlop. They're queuing up here. Sam Gray takes a bit of contact. He's all bandaged up. And he has been the go-to man inside 50, Sam Gray.
Well, they're obviously trying to expose McKay on that occasion again.
Can hardly breathe. Have a look at him, Wakes. Just got a kick straight. As you said, they've missed 4 gettable ones. Very similar position to where Need had that last shot. And this an absolute must for the Power. To cut it back to 16 points, only off a couple of steps. He'll kick straight. No problems with Sam Gray and his execution in 2018. Big goal for the Power. 2-4-16. The Crows 5-2-32. And that is on the Tyre Power Know Your Tyres scoreboard.
Some pretty ugly footy by Port Adelaide. Once again, it was probably one of the better build-ups we've seen. Need looked back inside. A clever option to Motlop. And then Motlop had the patience. Nice little lead up to Gray. They're finding avenues, Port Adelaide, but once again, they weren't rewarding themselves. Will they be able to do that in this last 2.5 quarters? On the other hand, Adelaide go forward. They still seem as though they have another gear, Adelaide. So Port Adelaide absolutely will need to be at their best to even stay in this game.
Darryl Wakeland for Red Energy, 100% Australian. Margin back to 16 points. And they win it out of the middle, Port. Toe poke to Wingard, picked it up off his ankles. First rider, then Polek, who slipped over. And this is where Adelaide look at their most threatening, although Douglas had his kick smothered. Goes in for a second attempt and handballs to Ellis Yeoman at centre half forward. He wasn't able to take it with him. Gibbs comes in, brought to ground. Boak's handball, intercepted by Greenwood. Just somehow bangs it forward and inside 50 for the Crows. Seedsman went and got it. Seedsman with the finish. Everyone stood around and looked at it. He went and made it his own. He's kicked his first. He's having a big season for the Crows, and just like that, they immediately answer and get it back to 22 points on the Tyre Power Know Your Tyres scoreboard.
Well, Motlop, it was a quick kick out of stoppage. Motlop won't want to see that on Monday afternoon doing the replay. That was such a poor effort by Motlop. He needed to run through the line. If he wasn't going to take the ball, he needed to take the body. He took nothing. Seedsman couldn't have had it any easier. Clever finish. Fine finish in the end.
AFL Nation for the McDouble burger for only $3 at Macca's. And the Crows get the reply. Margin 22 points. We're back in the middle. Important ball to be won here. Seedsman again, able to gather. Now the kick forward for the Crows. Nice little ball to Jenkins. He'll wheel and go from 55. He's a thumping kick. Josh Jenkins all the way to the line has just been touched. Right on the last line of defence by Tom Jonas. Tyre Power Know Your Tyres scoreboard. 39 plays 16. The Crows lead it. Risky kick up the middle. Check for Port Adelaide from the kick in.
They just about gave it back, BP. AFL Nation for Liquorland. We've got a drink for that. Houston to the right back pocket where he has Jonas. They're just stifled at the moment, Port Adelaide. Wingard tries to get something going but runs out of space. So power handball back inside defensive 50. Jonas had to kick hurriedly and had to kick long. Wingard got involved, created a contest and won it back again. He's doing everything he can at the moment. To Dixon, outer side wing, low ball for Gray. That's Sam Gray trying to make it work off his ankles. In the end, he just slipped over. Crows continue to press, continue to charge, but Wingard again exerts himself and then just works a right boot inside 50. And diving down low, Westhoff marks. He's too far out to score. He's headed to the goal square, unable to get a mark. It's all Port Adelaide there, and Ebert misses.
That kick from Westhoff though, Wakes. I mean, you're kicking it to almost, I mean, either go for home or you pitch it a little bit further into. I mean, just a wasted kick.
It was an indecisive kick once again.
Well, he's gone with a big defensive fist here as the Crows got it outside their defensive 50. It's gone out of bounds, let it tossed in.
I'll tell you what, Port Adelaide fans are pulling their hair out. I mean, what a chance like that. He did all the work to mark it, Westhoff. Need to go to the top of the square.
Umpire throws it back in. Jacobs have front position on Westhoff. Out of the air there from Rockcliffe. Right on the 50 here for Port Adelaide. Big ball to be won. Atkins led. Ellis Yeoman took the contact there from Polak. Gathered by Wingard. He dribbles one towards the goal square. Gray trying to track it back. That's Sam opposed to Brown. And it's going to go through for a behind on the Tyre Power Know Your Tyres scoreboard.
See, Port Adelaide have time here to set up. Look to be going one-on-ones. And they're going to lock this down. If Adelaide get out of this one easily, there's such poor defence by Port Adelaide.
What on earth was that? Ooh. Jack, I'll leave you to describe.
That was yuck from Jack Watts. That's probably better terms I can use, but that was the one that jumped to mind straight away. So it's brought back in. Polek to the hot spot. Watts in the area. Powell Pepper waiting down at the back. He's strong, but he's not that strong. He's caught holding the ball. And the Crows survive. Luke Brown with a tackle.
God, credit to Adelaide, though. They're defending so well.
Yep.
We talk about they've got quality across every line, even with the players they have out. And their quality players are standing up.
AFL Nation for the McDouble burger, only $3 at Macca's. Adelaide by 21 points. And they're in possession on defensive 50. Kick goes over the head of Betts. Strong was Jonas, but he's bitten off more than he can chew. He's caught holding the ball, and Adelaide have got numbers forward.
Yeah, it's a one-on-one right on their 50. There's a mark at its highest point in the Governor. Glenn Cameron can do mark of the day. Now he waits for the cavalry to arrive. It's a beautifully weighted kick to Ellis Yeoman. Superbly done by the Crows off half back. And he's certainly within range here. He'll kick from just inside 50.
It feels like Adelaide are actually 7-8 goal up already. And it's turning very, very scary for Port Adelaide.
Well, Ellis Yeoman, he's not it. Everything just roll out for him in his AFL career. Injuries and not always being in their best 22, but talked about his tackle numbers and his strong stuff in the contest. Now with a chance to finish with a big clutch goal for the Crows, and he delivers. Beautifully done by Ellis Yeoman. The Crows continue to put their foot down for Bendix Brace. You can insist on Bendix Breaks. 7-3-45. Port Adelaide 2-6-18. Showdown 44. Gee, it looks like at this stage it might be 6 in a row for the Crows, unless Port can find something, Wax.
Well, 84 points here in round 20 last year. Last time they met, they taught them an absolute lesson. We're seeing something very similar here this evening. Straight kicking, those good footy, and Port Adelaide have shown the exact opposite. But Adelaide absolutely executing this to perfection at the moment.
Good spread too, Jack. 7 individual goal kickers.
They've had their chances with inside 50s, Port Adelaide, but just not making them work. AFL Nation for Liquorland. We've got a drink for that. Port Adelaide supporters might need one at halftime if this keeps going. Crouch, so strong through the middle of the Adelaide Oval. Grubby ball that Gallucci couldn't make work. Burn-Jones off by hand and need, and then they try and expose the middle. Rockcliffe to Boak. Wines will have to be quick when he receives. He's run down. Good tackle by Brown. The Crows come up with the football just because they wanted it, just because they're hunting after it more. Up and under ball for Eddie. He's unable to mark. Jonas just handballs blindly to the wing. Seedsman off the ground. There's a whistle that's coming back. Or have they paid advantage? No, it is going to come back. So free kick on the outer side wing. Tyre Power, know your tyres scoreboard. Adelaide 7-3-45. Port Adelaide 2-6-18. Half time at the Gabba. Gold Coast 37. Melbourne 59. As we just hold up and wait for Tom Lynch. Pinpoints a pass. He's got Matt Crouch. Best part of 2 and a bit kicks from goal. So just loads it up. Plenty of marking targets inside 50. One of them was Greenwood on that occasion, who couldn't bring it down. Rockcliffe handballs off to Polek, and he'll chip short and finds Robbie Gray.
He does. Can they build something here off halfback? Looking for an overlap run. He's going to go to Ebert. Back to Robbie Gray. Nice little connect to Dixon. Just got to lower the eyes. Charlie does nicely to half forward. Boak's on the end of it. He's seen him out of the corner of his eye. Bit of hang time in the kick towards need. It's a 50 though. So it's going to bring Travis Boak all the way to the goal square for a certain goal for Port Adelaide. Was it just encroaching the area or the mark? What was that one for, Wakes? Did you get a glimpse of that?
Keeping an eye on the replay here.
Yeah.
PP, but
umpire was right on it.
He was red hot on it. Maybe they'll kick one here. This is quite comedic.
I'll tell us all, Barry Ram missed one from here many years ago down at Willie, but there was a fair stiff breeze that day. Not a chance here. Boak gets a big goal for Port Adelaide. It's an understatement to say they needed that. He joins Paddy Ryder on the scoreboard. 3-6-24. And also Sam Gray. It is the Crows 7-3-45. Tyre Power, know your tyre scoreboard.
Well, quite amazing. It's still under a 4-goal game, so I think Port Adelaide will take that. It could have been well beyond reach. In saying that the 3 or 4 that they did miss late in that first quarter and early in the second, funnily enough, it could be right in the game, but statistically we'll go through them. But Port Adelaide dominating the possession, going at a 67% kicking efficiency to Adelaide 58, and the inside 50s nearly equal 20-18, so Adelaide leading that by 2.
AFL Nation for the McDouble burger, only for $3 at Macca's. Free kick against Port Adelaide. Mitch McGovern at centre half forward. bombing away long. Jenkins couldn't get a run at it. He wanted a free kick. Umpire didn't share that view. And it's Port Adelaide who mop up. Motlop with a bounce, and then on the lead to Dixon. He was a long way from his natural habitat, but he just needs to get his hands on the footy at the moment, Charlie.
Got the numbers on the outer side of ground. Needs to go a short switch. Wow.
And instead of that, he's put it into the grandstand about 9 rows up. And there was a bloke eating a McDouble burger who's just lost it.
Yes, asking for a refund.
Luckily for him, they only cost $3.
He's just put the head around.
That's not good.
He's run out of money. He's had 5 McDoubles.
Give me 50 each, boys. There's Crouch. Back inboard. Alice Yeoman at ground level. It was all set up for him, but he snaps across the face, and it's out of bounds on the full. No change to the score, which is a 21-point lead to the Crows.
Any chance of anyone being... He did not have anyone within 10 metres of him. Incredible. He crumbed it perfect. He could have... nearly have been another goal for Adelaide.
AFL Nation for Liquor Land. We've got a drink for that. And we're just getting things sorted. Deep in defence. A lot of conversations going on. It's going to be Jake Need's kick. Umpire says play on. He's going to come right across his defensive goal square to Burn Jones. He's looking to try and be a bit bold with their movement. And a 50. So Burn Jones gets a 50 here, which will take him outside their defensive arc. Now just trying to use the ball well here, Port Adelaide. Certainly still in the game. Umpire now giving him the move along. He's in 2 or 3 minds here. He's just going to square it short across the ground to Homps. One-on-ones all over. Although they're trying to position themselves for a switch here if they're bold, Port Adelaide. Gee, Motlop, bit of risk in that to Bonner, but he's off on the left boot. Robbie Gray, a fair hold on him. Might get it at ground level here. Now the tug of the jumper, it's going to go the other way to the Crows. And it's going to go to McKay at half-back. 7-3-45 the Crows. Port Adelaide 3-6-24 here on showdown number 44.
At least they're covering that switch. They've gone the hard one-on-one. We spoke about it early in this second quarter. The Port Adelaide needed to keep it basic. Going back to a Johnny Worsfold one-on-one setup, and I don't mind that. Get back in the game. Make it a contest. Everyone beat their man.
Darryl Wakeland for Red Energy, 100% Australian. Probably not a good day for Johnny Worsfold today, as there's a mark. A big mark taken by Mitch McGovern. Not quite as acrobatic as his Glenn Cameron can-do mark of the day last week, but his kick into the middle was excellent. It releases Seedsman. He has a bounce, and then he chips it towards the goal square, because waiting for it there was Tom Lynch, and the Crows are on fire. They are a well-oiled machine when they press inside 50. This time it's Tom Lynch. Another goal kicker for the Crows. Big problems now for Port Adelaide in the showdown.
Well, there was no one within 5 metres of any of the players that took possession there. Seedsman clever, ran a nice line, ran hard off of half-back, but where were the Port Adelaide midfielders? Where were the Port Adelaide forwards chasing them down? That was just scary. That was just a practice run for Adelaide.
Rotations are plenty for Spitwater. High pressure cleaners, tools, not toys. Spitwater, that's what it does. Greenwood back in the middle for this bounce, opposed to Powell Pepper. Now Ellis Yeoman just stormed his way through, puts into the path of Betts. He's just come back on the ground hungry to get the footy in hand. He chipped it inside forward 50, but Bonner will take the mark here for Port Adelaide.
So Adelaide doing the basics well. They love that short little chip. Get the run going from behind. Get that spare man. Port Adelaide just go from uncontested mark to uncontested mark, but don't get any ground.
Bonner to Homsch, back to Bonner, who now got it outside 50. And a free kick over the shot. It's going to be a ball here to the skipper, Travis Boak. Just trying to get some fluency in their ball movement, Port Adelaide, but doing a very good job as a team defence here. The Crows right across the ground. She's forced to chip this one up the line. Dixon territory, sandwiched between a couple of defenders. Now the ball at the back for Brown. He just hooked it around the body. Ellis Yeoman on the juggle. Couldn't quite take the mark. You're queuing up to get possessions. He gave it to Douglas. High up and under towards half forward. Lynch with the strength against Houston. Gave it off to Crouch. The fumble goes on the non-preferred right boot. And, well, he doesn't need to use it that often, Matt Crouch, and you can probably see why, Jack.
I think we just saw that
Wasn't one of his best.
That right foot's for balance, BP, and that's about it.
Free kick to Port Adelaide at half-back.
Finally a switch. Yeah, don't you love that?
Now they get it there. Westhoff at right half-back. His kick is to the advantage of Need. It couldn't mark. And it's out of bounds. I thought it was to the advantage, but it just seemed to kept travelling.
Well, a textbook play. They just can't execute. At least they've found the courage to at least switch. Once again, how they can get a goal here, and it's only a 21-point game. 27 points at the minute. There's still probably 8 minutes to go in this second quarter, Jack.
AFL Nation for Liquorland. We've got a drink for that. Westhoff went up uncontested in the ruck. Tries to bat it forward somewhere into the path of Rockcliffe. He did okay on hands and knees. And then Port go inside 50, but it's chopped off by Jake Kelly.
And reacting so well down back, Adelaide. They read the ball so well. They're watching the kick off the boot, whether it's their player or...
Kelly and short to Watton, who certainly gave Brown a real task in the back pocket. He was able to take the mark just in front of Wingard, chips it in short to Otten. So it's a series of short kicks inside 50. Crows will come back across their defensive goal square to Duday. Half volley ball here for Ellis Yeoman. He just stands right on defensive 50. Got an eternity to make a decision on the stretch. Betts couldn't take the mark, but he's off and going. Gave it across. Atkins with the run. He's had a couple of bounces. Really accelerates. He's had 3. Make it 4 bounces. Make it 5. Atkins brings it back towards the goal square. The back Lynch trying to take the mark. Now Douglas. Little kick inside. Gathered by Howard. Gee, that would have been a great finish. The goal there, contender for Atkins. If he had gone all the way and kicked the goal. Still a chance here for the Crows. Kelly, Need. Sweats on him with a big tackle. Takes him over the boundary line. Port Adelaide fans appreciating a bit of hardness from Jake Need, and we'll have it tossed in. 8-3-51 the Crows. They've had 8 individual goal kickers. Port Adelaide 3-6-24. Ray White clock. We've ticked over 20 minutes of this second quarter.
So they're still within touching distance, Port Adelaide. They need to get multiple goals. They haven't been able to do that at any stage today. Kelly on the wing. Looks for Walker. He's unable to mark, and Homsch takes a good defensive mark for the Power. He's just held up. Rockcliffe waits for the run of Motlop to arrive. He's not sure what to do, so does what he knows best, and that's to tuck it under the arm and run and carry. A couple of bounces. Then his kick was smothered, but it fell back into his arms, and he had to kick quickly, and this time he kicks it out of bounds. So some good signs, but then the turnover, and it's still 27 points to the good of Adelaide.
So Talia put it back into play. Long kick up the line. That ball is thumped out of bounds, and that marking contest will have it thrown in. Right on the Max Bashir stand wing. We'll have it thrown in. 51 plays 24. It is a 29-point lead to Melbourne. That is midway through the third quarter up at the Gabba for Kubota Tractors. They get the job done. We're deep in the second quarter here in the showdown. I'd love one here, Port Adelaide. Want to just keep that scoreboard locked down for the Crows. Atkins takes the mark on the wing. He holds the footy here for Adelaide. He's given them plenty of run and carry right throughout this game. Just going to kick a high one towards half forward. Trying to work his way to the front was Douglas. Big fist in there from Homsch. Now it goes at the back again to Douglas. He hooks it around the body inside forward 50. Free kick. He's going to come back. It's going to come back, in fact, to young Gallucci. So it's gone against Bonner. Try and get a look at that on the Chemist Warehouse replay. He's going to go in short. They're just outside the 50 arc. Atkins trying to lower the eyes in, but Walker wasn't in position to mark. Nicely cut off there by Dougal Howard.
Just a bit of a holding pattern in this game at the moment. They haven't had a goal for the best part of 7 minutes.
Yep.
Port Adelaide a long way from home as they come out of defensive 50. And it's off hands and out of bounds in front of Powell Pepper and in front of Rory Atkins.
Really is, isn't it, Jack? Real hold the last 8 or so minutes. It's like Adelaide's just pulled back a bit, a little bit more conservative. I think it's certainly played that way. Adelaide is still trying to play the free man behind. Port Adelaide happy enough to go one-on-one.
Tyre Power, know your tyres scoreboard. Port Adelaide 3-6-24. Adelaide 8-3-51. Here's Powell Pepper on the wing. Handballs to Rockcliffe, but they're all stationary, these receivers at the moment. Powell Pepper, that's better. To Wingard. Runs and carries and blazes away. Not a good kick. It didn't really favour Sam Gray all that much. It certainly favoured Duday, who was there to support Luke Brown. And then handballs to Otten. This kick's important. Bonner's given away a free kick. There's a push in the back, and it'll go to Jordan Gallucci.
So Gallucci's ball at halfback. About to tick over the 28-minute mark. And on the Ray White clock, he's going to work this one up the line. Walker flew. Big fist in there by Dougal Howard. And hands and knees Bonner. Just couldn't quite find Pollock with the handball. And young Gallucci's able to gather at the back. Jonas, though, will take the mark. Can Port Adelaide get one last scoring chance going here? Burn Jones trying to open up the other side of the ground to Motlop. Ebert sprinting hard into space, but he comes back up the middle here to Powell Pepper. He wants to get on his bike. Nice little chip across the top to Ollie Wines. Lowers the eyes inside forward 50. That's a good hit-up ball for Robbie Gray. Good build-up from Port. Now they just need the finish.
Surprisingly, we'll be right on Robbie's distance here. He'll be kicking all of probably 43 metres. Needs to finish. Make it a 21-point ball game if he can nail this. Deep in the second quarter.
The dual showdown medalist, Robbie Gray, the classiest player in this Port Adelaide team. They've missed a few from this part of the ground in the second quarter. From 48 metres, Robbie Gray's always got the finish more often than not. That's a big goal for Port. They kick their fourth of the evening, 4-6-30. The Crows, 8-3-51. That is on the Tyre Power Know Your Tyres scoreboard. Daryl Wakeland with us tonight on AFL Nation.
I just look at games like this, boys, and you think Adelaide's brought so much energy here. They've dominated so much play. We've got a 21-point ball game. Port Adelaide couldn't have played any uglier. They couldn't have played any more inefficient. Lots of mistakes. There's been a couple free kicks go their way that have sort of kept them in it, given them a couple scoring opportunities, and they're still in this game. It's going to be, I think it's building up to be an excellent last half.
Only his fifth goal of the year, Robbie Gray. I'll say only because he kicked 47 last year. AFL Nation for Liquorland. We've got a drink for that. We've spoken about it right throughout this first half. The challenge now for Port is to kick back-to-back goals. See if they can edge closer than this current 21-point deficit. Jacobs had his tap shark by Boak, who defers to Polek, and then Dixon just drops a simple mark at centre-half forward. He's just not having a good first half, Charlie. Wines cleans the mess up. Looking for Gray, who was upstairs. Sam Gray just jumped on the stepladder. It was like he was shot out of a cannon.
Why is he the... This is ridiculous, Wakes. I mean, they need Dixon in the second half to really stand up. Watts, a few others. I mean, Sam Gray is the main focal point. He's competing oh so well, but having to be the man on the ground, having to be the man in the air, he almost has taken an absolute beauty. And that's going to be it for half-time. That Crouch with the 18 first half disposals, certainly going to be contended for the Player of the Year, Player of the Day for Self Wealth, $9.50 fixed fee ASX trades. 8-3-51 the Crows. Port Adelaide 4-6-30. How about the individual goal kickers? Jenkins, Seedsman, Walker, Atkins, Douglas, Lynch, Ellis, Yeoman and McGovern. All singles for Port. Boak, Ryder, Gray, that's Robbie, and Gray, Sam.
So a bit to do for Port Adelaide at the main break. A bit for Ken Hinkley to pull apart, and a bit for us to pull apart on the other side of this. But at half-time here at the Adelaide Oval, it is the Crows by 21 points in the showdown. And you're listening to AFL Nation for the McDouble Burger for only $3 at Macca's.
Welcome back to the Adelaide Oval. Second half not too far away here in showdown number 44. It is the Crows leading Port Adelaide by 21 points at the half, 8-3-51 to 4-6-30. And it is Melbourne as we go around the grounds to the Gabba. Only about a minute and a half to play in that third quarter and they're currently leading the Gold Coast by 31 points. Well, you could win the ultimate AFL Grand Final VIP experience. Thanks to our good friends at Choices Flooring, you and a mate could be mixing with the stars at 3 of the footy season's biggest events: the Virgin All-Australian 2018 AFL Grand Final Party, the Grand Final Footy Show, and the 2018 Toyota AFL Grand Final itself. You can head to iCanWin.com.au. Tell us each week the amount of possessions you think the 5 nominated players will score. The weekly winner will take home a Choices Flooring rug up to the value of $600. And at the end of the season, one winner will be going on the ultimate Grand Final VIP experience, including all tickets and 6 nights luxury accommodation. AFL authorised Grand Final promotion GF AFL 18/23. Not sure if we can nominate, but that sounds, Jack, like a damn good prize.
I'd have to check the T's and C's, but I don't think we could nominate, but it does sound good. It does sound like a week in the life of Wakes, really, doesn't it? Just going to all the big parties and all of the major functions.
Few C-list parties here in Adelaide. That's about all I get invited to, boys.
Melbourne 94, Gold Coast 63 with a minute to go before three-quarter time. Earlier today, West Coast by 25 over the GWS Giants, and Carlton winning by 13 points over Essendon. Bombers supporters, if you're listening to it, the sun will come up tomorrow. The opening bounce for Tyre Power, your top of the ladder tyre team. Second half underway. Crows leading by 21 points.
Well, we talked before the game how big this game was for Port Adelaide. They would have got a rev up from Ken Hinckley, and they produced some great footy in the second half. Nice little palm down there by Ryder, but not to the advantage of Ollie Wine. Sharked by Betts, away to Gibbs. First inside 54A goes the Crows' way. It's going to be chopped off, though, by Jonas. The brick wall for Port Adelaide across half-back.
But this has been the story of the night. They can get it at half-back, and it's just hard work. It's been long down the line.
Yep.
They've been very difficult to build up any sort of pace going forwards.
Been able to hit Travis Spoke with that footy. That's spettered from Dixon. Really comes up and presents at the footy. Can wheel and go, Charlie. Not a great kick off the boot. It wasn't to the advantage of Watts at all. It's going to be chopped off here by the Crows. Inboard to Lynch. Away to Betts. On the stretch, Jenkins wants to try and play on. He'll go back behind his mark. As they push deep inside forward 50, the Crows forwards. He puts it high and long. There's the big fly, McGovern. Betts almost swooped on the loose foot. He couldn't take it cleanly. Here's Gibbs trying to extract the footy. Big tackle, Wines. Didn't quite stick on Douglas. Eventually Byrne-Jones able to work that kick out, Jack, but it's a 2-on-1 favouring the Crows. That one he's going to trickle over the boundary line. We'll have it thrown in.
Well, not a bad result for Port Adelaide in the end. That could have been disastrous. Gibbs looked like he was going to get a shot on goal, and they looked very dangerous there. Somehow Port Adelaide were able to extract it. We've got a boundary throw in, wing side, member side.
AFL Nation for Liquorland. We've got a drink for that. Power Pepper with strength. Off by hand to Wines. Hard up against the boundary line. Need had it whacked away from him, but then Need went back and belted it further towards Port Adelaide's goal. Otten had his kick smothered by Watts and out of bounds once again. So it's just the little things. They've just got to do the little things over and over and over, Port Adelaide. Help them make some inroads on this 21-point deficit on the mighty helpful Mitre 10 scoreboard. Ryder climbs high. Waiting down at ground level though, Crouch. Got a kick away to Atkins, who flipped a handball over his head. That's how well he's tracking at the moment. Gibbs and then Lynch on the wing. Turns and goes. Jenkins plays from behind on Homsch. So he's forced to fist. Atkins is tackled over the line, but it came off his boot. Out of bounds on the full.
Just a few little ones going Port Adelaide's way here. But how clever was that with Atkins? Just a flick back over the head. Just brilliant.
Wingard's going to work it backwards here to Howard. He accelerates away, comes across his defensive goal square. It was a kick down low. Jonas good enough to mark. And they've really spread the ball from one side of the ground to the other, but they're still inside defensive 50 to Westhoff, who now gets told to play on by the umpire. He's just going to chip a little short ball up the line to Cleary. It's one-on-one all over the ground. A lot of players between the two arcs. Now off a step, he's just going to kick high up the line. Watts trying to work his way to the front of the contest. He needs to have an impact in this second half, Jack Watts. Hands and knees. That was better from Boak. Now away to Dixon, who squares the ball across the ground to Polak. Plenty of room in front of him. Not a great ball down low. Ryder's overrun it. Should have hit the target, though. Need able to gather. Gave it to Ollie Wines. This will be a great start for Port Adelaide. And that drifts out to the right. An absolute soda. And that's been the story of the night for Port. Mighty helpful, might attend scoreboard. 8-3-51 the Crows. Port 4-7-31.
There's another big miss, Waits. Another big miss. Wines tries to atone for the previous error. Smothers. Then Wingard at ground level. Handballing off to Robbie Gray. Working around handballs. Back to Powell Pepper, who snaps over his shoulder. And he misses as well. A couple of Bendix breaks. Big moments early in this third quarter. You can insist on Bendix breaks. Port Adelaide trail by 19, but it should be less.
We talk about repeated score, Jack. Repeated goals is what they need. At least they're peppering it. They're keeping it inside. One-on-ones again all over the ground. They're just locking it down. They're going with the men. Doesn't matter where they are.
So Luke Brown to put it back into play for the Crows. He sends a long high ball that clears the back 50. Held it to go the spoil there on Walker. Now Walker able to gather at ground level. Stripped of the footy though. Port getting some numbers around the contest. Bonner, Watts, now back to Westhoff. Series of handballs back to Darcy Byrne-Jones, who kicks it high and long down towards Robbie Gray. Dixon territory. Gray ridden hard into the turf, and he's going to get a free kick just a little too high. And Robbie Gray to line up here for Port Adelaide.
I mean, it's basic coaching, what Kenny Hinkley's doing here, but on the kickouts, they're just locking it down. They say, you beat your opponent, we'll get a repeat attack back inside 50, and we'll give ourselves a chance. Just go and beat your man. Basic football, I'm liking it.
Taking some high contact there on the Chemist Warehouse replay. Well, we've said it a few times tonight. Every goal seems like a huge goal for Port Adelaide just to stay in the contest. Robbie Gray converts. He's kicked his second. The only multiple goal kicker of the night for the Power. They've got a pulse. 5-8-38, 8-3-51. 13-point lead of the Crows. Three-quarter time at the Gabba. Melbourne 13-17-95, leading the Gold Coast 9-9-63 for Kubota's autumn catalogue.
And Rockcliffe featuring again. I just like his ability. You can trust him with the disposal. He's one of the few midfielders who can cover the ground and really hit that nice lead-up kick. But Robbie Gray once again, it's his second goal for the game.
Yep.
He's had the 12 disposals and featuring. You know he's going to feature again in this last quarter and a half.
Three-time best and fairest, three-time All-Australian. The cream will rise to the top. AFL Nation for McDonald's. Ryder wins the tap out down to Rockcliffe, who kicks to half forward. Boak was his man that he wanted. Getting in front and taking such a crucial mark.
How often do we see that? His ability to keep his eye on the ball was just incredible.
And he had no idea what was coming his way then. He could have been absolutely cleaned up, and he didn't care. And his kick is smacked out of bounds for a throw in. If you're picking the All-Australian team after 8 weeks, he'd be one of the first names across the ground in any position that you would write down, Rory Laird. So
umpire to toss it back in again. Trying to get back-to-back goals, the Power, and really put some genuine pressure on the scoreboard here. As Rockcliffe is able to wrap up Greenwood in the tackle. Umpire quickly darts in, he throws it up. Ryder coming over the top. Polek trying to run onto it. Good hands by Rockcliffe. Back to Byrne-Jones. A kick to high up and under towards half forward. A free kick though. Bit of high contact there. And come back to Rockcliffe. And dished out the handball and then caught one too high. Goes in short. Dixon presenting. Long way from home though. Smalls inside forward 50 here for Port Adelaide. Now Dixon's going to kick it long and high. Inside. Wingard trying to get a run and jump at it. And the free kick's going to go this time to the Crows. It'll hold on Rory Laird. And he'll take the free kick in the back half. It's the Crows by 13 points. Mighty helpful, mighty 10 scoreboard. We've ticked over 7 minutes on the Ray White clock in this third quarter. As Laird looks for and finds Jenkins. Good mark. Outer side wing. What have you seen from Port Adelaide in the first 7 minutes, Wakes, that's been better in this third quarter? Well, they've all seemed to have roles. They're locking down that one-on-one. It's not allowing Adelaide to get the overlap run. On this occasion, they've still got the ability to use that wide ball space. They're spreading out the ground, so that's what will make it hard for Port Adelaide. Wakes is here today for Red Energy, 100% Australian, as Luke Brown makes his way from the wing to half forward. Gallucci went without it. Very nearly made something happen. Polek back into trouble.
Handball's back, good pick up and kick around the corner comes from Howard to the broadcast side wing. On the ground. Brown stops and props and then kicks over his shoulder, really to no one in particular. And it's marked for the power by Houston. This next kick important. It just hits its target of Ebert. And he releases the run of Motlop through the middle. Kicks with the outside of the boot. It was a smart one because no one knew it was going there except Travis Boak, who kept his feet. And now he's got a couple of Crows defenders to negotiate. Handball's out into space. And there are those Crows numbers. Well, there's Boak. Almost got Seedsman, who absorbed the tackle and kicks to Walker.
Tex, It opens up now. No one inside forward 50. Jenkins sprinting back into that space. Tex just holds the footy. Now he goes long. It's one-on-one. Jenkins at the front. Jonas wearing him like a glove. He's right there. He's just got to keep his footing as that ball will trickle to the boundary line. And we'll have it thrown in the right forward pocket here for the Crows.
Once again, that kick by Motlop, it was a rush kick. Tried to hit Bocup. When you've got a short one-on-one, contested one-on-one, you're better off just wrapping around. Once again, he had no left foot, needed to go to the top of the square.
No effective tap down, and then Ellis Yeoman storming through, had to wear the tackle. Ball spilled out. Now they piled in the game umpire quickly in. They'll throw it up only 30 metres out from Adelaide's goal. We led it here by 13 points. AFL Nation for the McDouble Burger for only $3 at Macca's. Lots of players around this footy. Ryder's palm down. Greenwood hacks a little kick. Here's Gibbs. Storms his way through. Just couldn't straighten up. Through a behind. Margin 14 points for the Crows.
Jenkins calling for a push in the back on Gibbs there. Umpire didn't want anything to do with it.
Just might have asked Josh to politely bugger off. Howard in the back pocket for Port Adelaide. 14-point lead that the Crows enjoy. They've led almost from the very start of the game. Ryder kicked the first and then Adelaide got the momentum from there. Turnover coming out of defensive 50. Well, McKay brought to ground. Good tackle for the power. That won't be advantage. It'll have to come back to Rockcliffe.
You like their intent, Lexi Porter. I mean, they're trying to play on. They're trying to be a bit bolder.
Yeah.
It's just the execution.
AFL Nation for Liquorland. We've got a drink for that. There's Polek playing on. Looking for Boak. He wasn't able to take it, but it falls to Wingard. Releases Ebert. Handballs back to Boak, who's got a tackler bearing down on him. Just got it away in the nick of time. Polek follows up again. Sets it up to the discipline area. No mark, Robbie Gray. Snap from Westhoff. Is offline. They're coming, Port Adelaide. They are charging over the hill. They've just got to make these opportunities count. Mighty helpful, Mitre 10 scoreboard. 5-9-39. Adelaide 8-4-52.
You ever had a tooth pulled out, boys? That's the feeling of Port Adelaide at the moment. It's just not quite coming.
Jake Kelly plays on from his defensive goal square. Hits up Greenwood. Good mark. Glenn Cameron can do. Mark of the day contender. Gave it away to Lynch. One-on-one. Douglas. Bonner. The 226ers go at it. Eddie swooping in for a bit of support as well. Houston sits over the top. Palms it forward. Betts scouting the pack. Really big ball to be won here. Powell Pepper with a handball. Nice gather by Matt Crouch. Just back on the ground for Spitwater. Inside to Lynch. The little ball to Greenwood. Ball in hand here, the Crows.
Once again, Port Adelaide locking it down ahead of the footy.
Greenwood sends a floating, tumbling ball inside forward 50. Can they get one over the back here? Ellis Yeoman, little soccer. Doesn't quite come back enough. For a behind on the Mighty Helpful. Mitre 10 scoreboard. Always mighty helpful to the trade. Our good friends at Mitre 10. 53 plays 39. Port quick to go, Jack.
And they are, BP. Straight up the middle. 2 kicks. And they're into the centre. Now, Gray's one-on-one. That's Robbie Gray. But instead, Watts goes to Sam Gray, who gathers at 50. His handball's good. Jake Need accepts. Pops the handball over the top. Robbie Gray runs it into goal for his third. Port Adelaide have kicked the last 3 goals of the game. And they have got this back inside single figures. 6-9-45. Adelaide 8-5-53. Mighty helpful, Mitre 10 scoreboard. Here's Darryl Wakeland.
Well, we go back to that first half with the Port Adelaide. We commented, didn't we, boys, at half-time? We probably haven't seen too many uglier halves by this Port Adelaide team. Just devoid of confidence. Who was going to pop up? Tommy Rockcliffe really the only one that looked in sorts. Polek at times, but still butchering and making mistakes. All of a sudden, we have an 8-point ball game. The pressure's on. They're asking the question of Adelaide. We're in for a cracker last quarter and a half.
The crowd meter's just gone up. Wakes for Red Energy, 100% Australian. Back in the middle, Dixon competing against Jenkins. Power Pepper storming through. Wines with a big tackle on Matty Crouch. That tackle sticks. Gone. Holding the ball.
By the letter, he took on the play, didn't he?
Yep.
He only had half a chance, but Wines nailed him from 10 metres away.
So Wines right in the middle of the Adelaide Oval. McGovern applying a bit of pressure from the side. Who's errant kick to half forward. A wasted possession there for Port Adelaide. Now the Crows can go. Douglas just stops. Props. Wants a little chip over the top. Alice Yeoman on the juggle. Takes a nice mark. Right in front of the interchange gates. 8-point lead of the Crows. Another 50.
Oh, gee, I don't think there's much in that.
Gee, there's been a few disputable 50s tonight. We'll get a look at the Chemist Warehouse replay on that in a moment.
Well within his distance too, BP.
So Ellis Yeoman kicked a tremendous goal in the first half. They've had 8 individual goal kickers, Adelaide. Haven't been able to hit the scoreboard in this second half. Weathering the storm from Port Adelaide. Runs past the 50 now. Ellis Yeoman, nice bit of left to right for a goal. A steadier for the Crows. 9-5-59. Port 6-9-45. Mighty helpful, mighty 10 scoreboard. Wakes for Red Energy, 100% Australian on AFL Nation.
Yeah, poor decision in the end by Wines. He needed to go fast and long. I mean, Adelaide are starting to lock down and not dropping off their man as much. That's a huge opportunity for Port Adelaide to really play more attacking. They know they're going to get more one-on-one contests when they do go forward in that 50. They'll get more opportunities to score.
Just having a look on the Chemist Warehouse replay. Polek was on the mark, and then Wingard said to him, "I'll take the mark, you go." And the umpires pinned them for being in the same space together. It's a bit unlucky. AFL Nation for Liquorland. We've got a drink for that. So now Port Adelaide have to answer immediately. And they do by winning the centre clearance. Motlop, good handball to Boak, who runs his full measure and then kicks towards a contest. Watts was playing from behind. Unable to mark. Need brought to ground. And he's going nowhere. He balled up 40 metres out from goal. 2 goals to 1 this quarter in favour of Port Adelaide, who trailed by 21 points at half-time. It's back to 14 now. Motlop spinning, twisting, weaving and deciding to kick to the goal square. Talia eases Watts away from it. Douglas is there for a chop out. Left foot ball is good. And Adelaide can just hold it up through Atkins.
Making a Jack Watts' game, Wakes.
Yeah, really does need to lift. He's had just the 4 possessions. Yep. I can't remember any of them.
I feel like he needs to have a bigger presence. We've been saying that about Jack for a large part of his career. Really important ball to be won on the wing here. Bonner fed it back to Burn Jones, right on the interchange almost, and he's kicked that one out of bounds on the full. Before he kicked to the Crows. We'll go to Atkins at halfback. AFL Nation for Liquorland. We've got a drink for that. Brett Phillips, Jack Everin and Daryl Wakeland enjoying Showdown 44. This one a long way from being decided as Atkins will kick this up the ground. Now it's the non-officiating umpire who's sent a free kick. There was a bit going on around the Power Pepper Wines just prior to that contest. Power Pepper's given away a free kick to Matty Crouch, just impeding him. Umpires are having a long discussion. They're trying to sort things out. Now a 50. Well, love to be a fly on the wall. Not sure what's going on down there. We could just work all that out. Well, that wasn't even 50. So I'm just going to bring you further down. I'm not sure what's going on there, Jack.
What happened there? We've gone back to SANFL 1983.
Yeah, just a little 15
25 metre rule.
What's going on there at all? Long kick inside forward 50. Here's one for the ground level players. Houston able to extract it out. Power Pepper just couldn't gather cleanly. They queue up just outside 50, the Crows. Crouch away to Otten. Otten's long kick towards Jenkins. He couldn't take the mark. Here's one of Alice Yeoman at ground level. Hands back to Jacobs. Had his kick smothered. Now Port Adelaide. Bonner. Wines. Back to Howard. He throws it on the left boot It sits up, pitches just inside the boundary line. Wingard need to have some presence. Got away from the would-be tacklers. Did it beautifully. Sam Gray. Need. Motlop. Now back to Sam Gray. They break it half forward. But sits up for Boak. He could be away. Brown. Great tackle from Luke Brown. He's gone. And Port, a little opportunity snuffed out. Adelaide led it by 14 points as Crouch with ball in hand at half-back.
That was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant from Luke Brown. They were out. And now the Crows transition. Alice Yeoman finds Jenkins at centre half forward. He can turn and go, and he does. Right foot ball, tries to lace out McGovern. Betts is off the chain. Eddie snaps. Eddie goals. Port don't take their chance at one end. Adelaide take theirs at the other. And they get momentum back in Showdown 44. 10-5-65. Port 6-9-45. Mighty helpful, mighty 10 scoreboard.
Yeah, clever there by Betts. Had the bigger opponent, Jonas, too. But we know he's got that experience. We know he has a unique ability, even as a little fella, just to get that little deft touch. Nudge his opponent out of the way, give him space on that occasion. Just opened it up for him, and what a clever little kick around the corner.
Yeah, nice a little Coates High goal of the day contender. Can be a few queuing up. Plenty of Crows goal kickers. Ellis Yeoman, they're only multiple with 2 tonight. Port Adelaide charged in the early part of this third quarter, but the Crows have steadied here. Margin 20 points. Ryder Jacobs won the palm down. Jacobs. Greenwood first there. The wrecking ball. He just couldn't take clean possession. Boak, he's opposite number 1. Spirals one towards half forwards. Talia and Dixon, and Kelly comes over for a bit of support for the Crows. They get it out of bounds, Adelaide. But Port Adelaide get it to half forward. 10-5-65, 6-9-45. At the Gabba, Melbourne have got things under control. 1:15 plays 64, final quarter of that twilight game. As the umpire reloads from the boundary throw in again. Jacobs front position there on Ryder. He's Boak at ground level. Nicely done. Good clean hands. Back to Wee, but left boot around the body. Grey territory. Kelly was in there with the spoil. Gets it out of bounds as Port creep just a little closer to goal.
We spoke about, Jack, that effort by Brown on Boak was just outstanding. But Boak needed to sense that he was under the pump. He didn't need to take possession. He just needed to maybe hold a bit, play for the free a bit, tap it out in space, and he would give himself a second chance to move back on it.
Free kick.
It's a non-officiating umpire is
It's going to go to Port Adelaide.
ducked in here. Robbie Gray.
Just doing a few evener uppers.
Yeah, just to keep it close.
Keep it close.
It's like the Legends game every year. It's remarkable how close that game always is, isn't it?
It is.
It's insane.
One of the great phenomenon.
There's got to be something in there.
Yeah.
I think they need to bring that
Someone's
into
got to
the
look
modern
into
game.
that. Nick Holland's in charge of that game now. Dutchy's got to look into that. Meanwhile, Robbie Gray going for number 4. 22 minutes played on the Ray White clock. He doesn't miss them. Single-handedly trying to keep Port Adelaide in this game at the moment, Robbie Gray. The power 7-9-51. Adelaide 10-5-65. Mighty helpful, mighty 10 scoreboard.
Well, Powell Pepper's been outstanding in this quarter. He's come back from that 3-week layoff. He's looking fresh. Some of the efforts, he's just seeing the ball. He didn't care whether there's 3 Adelaide guys and 2 of his own guys. Yeah. He figures he's just going to drag his team off the mat and just do this. I love that. He's not waiting back to see if he can get a handball received. He's going out there and he's just getting the job done.
Goes and gets his own footy. No doubt about that. Ryder jumping over the top of Jacobs. A little toe poke forward from Paddy Ryder. Dixon, Talia wearing him close. Ball spills to Boak. They've got it inside 50. Just couldn't get clear. Then he got it back. The captain. And he fed it forward to Wingard, who wants to play on. He'll kick the goal. Back-to-back goals for Port Adelaide. Oh, and the pendulum just swings again. And they get the margin back to 8 points. 10-5-65 the Crows. Port 8-9-57. Mighty helpful, mighty 10 scoreboard, and Wakes is with us for Red Energy, 100% Australian.
Well, I thought Boakey had butchered another one, and he doesn't get the arms up to free himself to be able to get the handball. He nearly got caught holding the ball again. It popped out to the Crows player. He kept himself in it though, and that's the great effort by the skipper. Kept himself in it. Was able to get one of the uglier kicks you'll see forward to Wingard. And as we know, Wingard, as he does, finishes well.
4 goals to 2 this quarter. 8 points the difference. AFL Nation for the McDouble burger for only $3 at Macca's. And now it's the Crows who, for the first time in this game, have got some questions they need to answer. Alice Yeoman had his kick smothered. Port Adelaide clean it up at half-back. Houston had to be quick. Wobbles it away. Watts was just eased under it, probably a bit too comfortably for some liking. But then he laid a good tackle. And he's come up with the football, so the end result's a good one. Pops it over the top to Ebert, who marks on the wing. They're full of run at the moment, Port Adelaide. This time it's Motlop. He takes off with a bounce. He's too far out to score, and he tips into the pocket and finds Sam Gray.
Guess who?
There's your full forward.
He plays on. He goes back to Motlop, who snaps across the face. Jeez. Opportunity goes begging. But the two Greys collectively are putting their hands up for the South Wales Player of the Day. $9.50 fixed fee ASX trades. We could give it to them together.
Just get everyone outside of the 50. Look at the Grey show.
Yeah.
Well, they're in the back pocket here, the Crows. In the hands of Atkins. 7-point lead to the away team.
Positive, they're making them go long down the line. I don't mind that.
Yep, a little short ball to
They
McKay.
got the overlap here though, Adelaide. They got the spare. Just need to lock down here, Port Adelaide.
Everyone's stationary around the ground. Umpire puts his hands above his head. He's forced to kick just a high up and under McKay. Jenkins just got to get a fist and try and get that out of bounds so they can reload here, the Crows. He does just that. Port fans with plenty of energy. Port home game. A bit at stake for Port Adelaide here in this tight AFL season, having lost the last 5 showdowns, but just what's at stake in 2018 as Jacobs pumps it back towards the boundary. Lyons took the tackle there of Greenwood just inside the boundary line. It'll trickle over again right on centre wing on the far side. We'll have it thrown in, and it is Melbourne really powering away from the Gold Coast. So the live game going on. 133 plays 64. Got about 9 to play in the last quarter for Kubota's autumn catalogue.
I've been harsh on Boakey, but he's had a terrific night in saying that 19 disposals, 10 contested possessions.
All of those numbers for Simmons Holmes since 1949. Crows come up with a footy on the wing, but now it's Port Adelaide, who always seem to have one extra at the contest. Free kick to Jonas.
Quick switch.
Here they come out to the broadcast side. Cleary, who's played his role nicely, back into the team tonight to Westhoff, who tonight goes equal with Brendan Lade on 235 games for the Power. 4th on the all-time list. Showing no signs of slowing up either, Justin Westhoff.
He's had an outstanding season.
Yeah.
Actually, he's had a terrific start to the season.
That's a good mark taken by Ebert.
Once again going through McKay.
Seen a bit of that. Ebert held up.
Got to shut the gate behind them now, Port Adelaide. Give themselves another repeat score.
Almost a 0-0 draw with that contest at half forward, so instead umpire comes in and calls for it to ball up. 27 minutes played on the Ray White clock. Port Adelaide 8:10:58. They're charging. Adelaide 10:5:65. Gray, nice handball to Rockcliffe from the pocket, who's across the face. Wingard wanted a free kick, nothing doing. And it'll be thrown in against the left-hand point post.
So we'll have
push and shove. They've pushed. Sorry, BP. They've pushed McGovern back on to play that defensive post. Look to be going head-to-head with Wingard. Interesting matchup.
Well, Power Pepper was dying to get back on for Spitwater. He's gone back and sat in the dugout just for a moment. Here's Robbie Gray. Sharked it. Right boot. Round the body. Robbie Gray.
Whoa.
He's kicked 5-iron. He is the man for Port Adelaide, as he so often has been across his magnificent career. He might be heading for a 3rd showdown medal. That's a point in it. 10-5-65 the Crows. Port 9-10-64 on the mighty helpful Mitre 10 scoreboard.
Well, nice little tap back. That was Brendan Lade like. when you look at it. Paddy Ryder over the top. He's been starting in that position 3 or 4 metres back on the boundary throws or centres just to get a little bit of a lead up on the top of Jacobs. Jacobs likes to hold that position. Clever little clip. That's textbook.
Listen to Port Adelaide's fans now. 1 point separates them. AFL Nation for Liquorland. We've got a drink for that. 29 minutes played in this third quarter. We'll get a secondary ball up in the middle. They found their voice. They were headed for the pop-up bars around the Adelaide Oval at halftime. The Power fans, they thought they were out of it. And now they're in the box seat. Ball to half forward. Need gave a little nudge, got away with it. He's still active in the contest. The bounce goes their way. Everything's going their way in this third quarter. Otten takes them on. Play on's the call. Even handballs over the top. Robbie Gray for number 6. Get out of town! One man stealing the show! Incredible! Port Adelaide in front. 10-10-70. Adelaide 10-5-65. Robbie Gray is putting on a show.
We'll have to get the numbers on that one, Jack, but I believe 5 of the last 6 goals, they're just piling them on. It seemed only 15 minutes earlier, the start of this third quarter, Port Adelaide, it just seemed impossible that they could string 2 goals together.
6 of the last 8, Wakes.
Brought back to basics. They've all got a roll. They've shut down the running game of this Adelaide side, and they're back in it.
Wakes here for Red Energy, 100% Australian. Crows need one against the flow, but they're going to break again here, Port Adelaide. Bonner just miswinds with the handball. Sam Gray on hands and knees. Boak now back to Wines, who puts a high up and under inside forward 50. Need running back with the flight. All the bounces seem to be favouring Port Adelaide. Wingard outside of the boot. Don't tell me. Oh, it just didn't bend. Oh, the decibel meter would have gone out of the roof. Off the charts here at the Adelaide Oval. 6-point lead to the Power. They have got their tail up. All the momentum with a team that needs to find a way to win tonight.
Well, they've gone hard on the bend, Port Adelaide. It's still a very long straight. Plenty of footy to go tonight. We're deep into this third quarter. What a cracker last quarter it's going to be.
Do the Crows need the siren for three-quarter time? 50,967 in the house for Simmons Homes. So not quite the crowd from round 3 last year. 3,000 short of that, but still massive numbers. AFL Nation for Liquorland. We've got a drink for that. Ebert was legged. No free kick, so he gets back up with the outside of the boot. It rolls inside 50. There's a push.
Called it.
Umpire saw it. And it'll be Chad Wingard's ball to give Port Adelaide a 12-point lead.
Must be close to the siren.
We've played 32 minutes. All for the McDouble burger for only $3 at Macca's. Wingard for his second of the quarter. His second of the match. 3 times this year he's kicked 2 goals or more. Big time to do it once again. They're on a roll. They are on a roll. 11-11-77. Adelaide 10-5-65. Mighty helpful minor 10 scoreboard.
And what a quarter he's had, Wingard. Just right on top of his game. He's had the 7 disposals. As you said, Jack, 2 goal, 1 for the quarter. And 4 contested possessions, importantly. He's getting back up to them numbers that we used to see. 3 goals a game and 20 possessions. Already 17 disposals for the game.
Well, the numbers for Simmons Homes since 1949. Umpire to bounce back in the middle. 3-quarter time imminent. Ryder went too early. Jacobs the palm down, but it will sit in the middle of the Adelaide Oval as Douglas is wrapped up by the big balls of Port Adelaide. Powell, Pepper and Wines. Jacobs, little palm down. Went the way of Ollie Wines, who hooked it around the body towards half forward. Got a couple there queuing up and quite relieved Adelaide to take that defensive mark. Mitch McGovern, but have a listen to the Port Adelaide crowd. It's Power Pepper. Oh, he's on the bottom of the pack here, and they're coming in from everywhere. Oh, I tell you what, this game, in addition, number 44 has lost no spite and feeling. Surrounded by all the umpires, the goal umpires are down there, Jack, as well. They're right in the thick of it. I could look at the Chemist Warehouse replay that comes up as Power Pepper went down on his haunches. Have a listen to this Port Adelaide crowd. It is unbelievable. This is why we love coming to the footy. 11-11-77, the Crows 10-5-65 at three-quarter time.
Now it's Adelaide with all the work to do. We'll come back. Final quarter after this on AFL Nation for the McDouble Burger. Only $3 at Macca's. No real surprise that all the highlights belong to Port Adelaide there. The opening bounce for Tyre Power, your top of the ladder tyre team. And it's Port Adelaide who lead by 12 points. Here's Brett Phillips.
Well, can they get home the power? Don Pike was in there having a lot of words to say to his players at three-quarter times. And here's Wines. Oh, and he's brought down to the turf. Big tackle on Ollie Wines. Ball stops. Taking a while to get up. He and Power Pepper down the stretch. Wake's going to be so important. In the middle of the ground here, Ryder over the top. Shucked here by Rockcliffe. Gave it away to Wines, who kicks a high ball towards half forward. Coming at it was Watts. That was better from Jack. A bit more purpose. Now kicks towards Robbie Gray. Couldn't take the mark. Boak at ground level. He's brought down a really strong tackle. That ball's going to stop about 40 metres out from Port's goal.
Get the structure set up behind the football, Port Adelaide. They've been doing that so well in the last quarter and a bit.
So going to be Ryder, who palms it down. Westhoff couldn't keep his footing. Coming through Rockcliffe. Power Pepper as well. But the Crows will gather here off half-back. Matt Crouch. Gee, big tackle by Need on young Paholke. That is fantastic from Jake Need. Just the little things that can keep him in this Port Adelaide team as he'll kick it inside 50.
He kicks to a heavily populated area, but Ryder! Upstairs he goes and takes the Glenn Cameron can-do mark of the day. Everything working for Port Adelaide at the moment.
Paddy Ryder, huge for his confidence. He's getting his centre work's been terrific. The third quarter was incredible with his tap work.
That is a big, big mark. Now he's got 10 seconds on the shot clock. He's 40 metres out from goal. He's going to take 2 steps around and snap accurately. He can have the Kotaya goal of the day to go with the mark of the day. Port Adelaide have kicked the last 6 goals in the game, and they now lead by 18 points on the Toyota Good for Footy scoreboard.
Well, you won't see too many AFL players kick a 40-metre snap like that. It takes a huge amount of skill. Obviously, that's the natural way he likes to kick them from there. It's funny how AFL players' minds work, but it's like he's got some run in the legs last week. He's really starting to cover the ground, really jumping all over Jacob at the moment.
So we're back in the middle, all the momentum here with Port Adelaide. They led it by 18 points. It's going to be Jacobs and Ryder once again. Here's the ball, Power Pepper, Wines, Rockcliffe, Burn-Jones, Bonner. They all combine to get Port Adelaide forward again towards right half forward, but it's a good mark by Jake Kelly across half-back, repels that attack.
They've got good marking players, haven't they, across there? Kelly, Laird, we see them do it time after time.
Goes in short to Lynch. They try and build with a big switch across half-back to Talia. Nice ball further afield. Seedsman. Just behind the wing, close to the boundary line. He'll kick it up the line. Hoping one for the high flyers. Cleary, though, with a good spoil over the top for Port Adelaide and gets it out of bounds. Just that final score at the Gabba. It was Melbourne with a big win, 21-21-46, defeating the Gold Coast 11-11-77 for Kubota's autumn catalogue.
strung together a couple of good performances in a row now, Melbourne, albeit not against the biggest opposition, but wins are wins early in the season. Rockcliffe's had a big second half and lays another good tackle. This time we get a ball up as Douglas helps himself up off the bottom of the pack.
Huge job by Wines, 2 in the last quarter and a half. Head-to-head with Crouch. It's kept Crouch to 4 disposals.
And there's Rockcliffe with disposal 25 for Simmons Holmes, which wasn't his best one. Intercepted by Laird on the wing. Adelaide have forced out wide to Seedsman, which in the first half we didn't see. It was direct corridor play. Now they're hugging the boundary line. All the Crows flyers get upstairs. None of them could mark. Paholke got a handball away to Bet somehow from the pocket. Eddie's done it again. Eddie has done it again. He's kicked his second, clipped that one up, and added to the highlight reel of belters that he's kicked at the Adelaide Oval.
Ollie Wines was calling for the touch, but the umpire didn't want anything to do with that. What an incredible goal. Opposite boot, under pressure, and he had one step and bang from 35 metres. That's as good as you get. How do you do that?
No time to think. Just knows where the goals are. Well, it's a great highlights reel here. We'll sit down when it's all said and done and just say, kids, have a look at this. You might be sitting here for a while. Game alive. In Showdown 44, Port by 12 points. Crows get one against the flow. One down by Dixon. Beautifully taken clean there from Ollie Wines. Gave it to Boak, who kicks to half forward. And interference in that contest. It'll arm on the hand of Jack Watts. He's in a sandwich of Adelaide defenders. He sits just outside 50, Jack. He's going to pop it up right down towards the top of the square. It's all the Crows. It was a 4-on-1 in the air. Jake Kelly takes the mark on the last slot of defence. Well, has there another twist in this game? A long way from being decided. Kelly now quick to play on. Goes outside defensive 50. Jacobs flew, couldn't take the mark. Really strong tackle. Ellis Yeoman once again. When he tackles, it sticks. And you do not get away. Ball stops.
55 metres around from Port's goal. An unbelievable wave of momentum they've been on in this second half, but they're not done yet. And this game's not done yet. AFL Nation for Liquorland. We've got a drink for that. Betts, clever tap on the wing. Handballs to Walker. Now Douglas cuts and weaves through the middle of the Adelaide Oval. Handballs off to Duday. He's not sure what to do. Avoids one tackle. Then quickly got a handball away. Douglas from a standing start to no one. And that was just pressure, Wakes. They just did enough there.
He got the turnover, and terrific by Jonas. He was patient there. Not a lot of numbers forward. Just got to be patient.
So it's in the hands of Charlie Dixon. His 10th disposal for Simmons Holmes since 1949. And Port Adelaide maintained possession. This time, Powell Pepper.
He's got it. Just on the wing. Far side from where we are here in the Bradman stand. Long kick inside 50. Watts flew, couldn't take the mark. Now job at ground level, trying to put it in the path of Wingard. Kept his feet beautifully, Wingard. The snap towards goal. It's not going to get the journey. Just didn't have enough carry on it. Kelly last line of defence. Crows looking to build quickly. It might come back though. Powell Pepper's intercepted. Threw it on the boot, right down towards the goal square. It'll go the journey. The carry, the conviction from Sam Powell Pepper. Can't take your eyes off this man when he goes near the footy. Something happens. Port 13-11-89, Adelaide 11-5-71. Toyota good for footy scoreboard.
Well, that's as good a leave as you'll see too with Sammy Gray. It was now, do I go a mark? And he's just let it go at the last half a second. Powell Pepper, some sort of last half he is playing.
He's up to 20 disposals now.
Running hot for room, Australia's number one.
Yep. It's a big time moment in the game. AFL Nation for the McDouble Burger. Only $3 at Macca's. Port by 3 straight kicks. Remarkable. Gallucci off the back of the square. Wins the footy and kicks Adelaide inside 50. The ball's on the ground. Jenkins could have been held. Umpire let it go. So now Jenkins tackles and locks it up 25 metres out from Adelaide's goal. They kick to the Riverbank stand end in this fourth quarter, and they have only kicked 3 goals since half-time. Jacobs bats it down, but this ball's going nowhere, and we'll get a secondary stoppage.
It's only 25 metres out from the Crows' goal. Gee, a lot of players around the footy. Jacobs able to take it out of the air. His kick smothered. Howard in there at ground level. Walker got it out to Betts. Little kick towards Jenkins. We're only 10 metres out from the Adelaide goal. They'll get back. Burne-Jones didn't do enough with that little hack on the boot. And great little diving mark by David McKay, who'll line up here for the Crows. Well, could that swing some momentum back if he can kick the goal here? Need to do better in that situation. And Jones. Now McKay, who's played in plenty of these showdowns. He knows what the pressure is all about. To hit the margin back to 12 points. They're right behind the kick, David McKay. It starts right, stays right. 2 out of good for footy scoreboard. 13-11-89, 11-6-72. It's the Power by 17. Underway at Etihad Stadium. Bulldogs a point, Brisbane yet to score in the Saturday night game.
Earlier today, Melbourne by 69 over the Suns. Carlton by 13 over Essendon. West Coast by 25 over the Giants. That kick was touched coming out of 50. So it'll be play on once it hits the ground. Ebert just wanted it and won it. And Sam Gray kicks over his body. Laird and Wingard engage on the wing. Wingard gets it out of bounds. He was just about away. In front of those interchange gates for Spitwater high pressure cleaners.
Hasn't that been a great contest? Laird v Wingard. You know Wingard's going to give Laird a little bit of leg rope, and vice versa. But what a terrific contest. Wingard the better of Laird in that third quarter.
Jenkins having a turn in the ruck. We'll give him that tap down against Ryder, but it didn't go anywhere. And now there's a free kick going the Power's way to Ebert. Quickly plays on. Westhoff unsure what to do. Drew a man and then gave it off to Sam Gray. Drills a ball to Robbie Gray, who got himself in an awful mess in the end and dropped the mark, one that he should have taken. This is a man that's kicked 6 goals. And he just kind of lost his momentum a little bit there. He lost his bearings.
He went off on the foot. Looked like he nearly went him up between the eyes, but he was at full throttle.
Umpire throws it up. Ryder won the palm down. Here's Robbie Gray. Feeds a little handball underneath. Back to Sam Gray. Hooks it around the body. Inside 50. Mark down low. Duday takes it. Here for the Crows. Wants to switch the ball across half back. It's a daring kick. Bit of hang time on it. 2 on 1. Now the numbers even up. Jake Kelly was able to swoop on that footy at half back. Eddie Betts got time to make a good decision. Baholke takes the mark. Just forward of the middle here for the Crows. 17 points the lead here for the Power. Now Baholke, just off a step. Just a high up and under. Tough one to Mark McGovern. Had a good flyer, couldn't take it. Watts trying to keep his footing. Big tackle by the Power. Able to lock this footy up. Only about 35 metres out from the Adelaide goal. It was Houston on that occasion doing the nice work as McKay is the last man to get up. Gee, a lot of players around this footy. Ryder won it down and then just set upon. No chance to get it out. The Crows sitting on the bottom of that pack. Richard Douglas, who's certainly worked his tail off today. We're inside forward 50 for the Crows.
Again, a heavily populated area. Westhoff somehow found space when there wasn't any. And then Sam Gray kicks it towards the boundary line. Robbie Gray in pursuit. And Brown happy to get it over for the Crows. Both teams ring the changes for Spitwater high pressure cleaners. Powell-Pepper back on. Gibbs back on. Powell-Pepper straight to Crouch. He's been giving him the you-know-whats in this second half. And there he is at the coalface. He's got Gibbs high. Could have been a free kick. And the ball goes out of bounds.
Powell-Pepper, he's not holding back, is he?
All that presence.
It's just a big man, big frame, 96 kilos. He's been in the SANFL for the last couple of weeks since being suspended. He's worked his way back in and he's had an impact tonight. Greenwood has had his impact quelled in this second half, but he's not alone there. Still hunting after the football. Boak on hands and knees. Ebert went without it. Eventually Atkins on the right boot just forces it to half forward. Bonner has got Paholke wrapped up. Look at Port Adelaide come from everywhere. This time Westhoff. They are ferocious.
So ball stops between wing and half forward here for the Crows. Scoreboard has stopped for the moment. Port Adelaide 17-point lead. Matty Crouch trying to swoop on the loose footy. Gibbs trying to extract a kick out. Good luck getting a good clean disposal at the moment. The pressure is high. Polak, Rockcliffe is just very, very good with his hands as this game goes on, but he gave it to Bonner, who's kicked it out of bounds on the full on this occasion. Free kick to Talia. The Crows got one last surge in them. Talia's going to pop it up inside forward 50. There's a lot of traffic down there at the moment. Big fist in there once again by Jonas. Towards the boundary line. Can they get a loose footy here? The Crows are only 20 minutes out from goal. Young Paholke getting his path there was Polak. Now it spills to Greenwood. Needs tackle is good. Still strong enough to get out. It'll come back. Rewarded. So it'll come back here to the power. The last line of defence. Chemist Warehouse replay.
Sixth tackle for Need.
He's a tough man to take a hold of, his big Greenwood, and that was great stuff from young Jakey Need. Trying to cement a spot in this best 22, and a few of his efforts have been terrific tonight as he goes in short to Cleary in the back pocket.
That was the number, Wakes, wasn't it? You did say he wanted 6 tackles from Jake Need.
Yeah, and we know he's not going to be a big number getter. Just the 10 disposals tonight, but if he can get his 12 to 15 disposals, lays 6 to 7 tackles, that's what you want.
Darryl Wakeland for Red Energy, 100% Australian. Port Adelaide leading by 17 points. Still a long way to go in this game. Sam Gray's kick intercepted, and Adelaide go back inside 50, but it's a high, slow, long ball. Alice Yeoman picked up the crumbs, then Lynch. His handball errant. Port Adelaide come up with it. Powell Pepper on the bounce to Wingard, who was playing from behind. Little toe poke off the ground for Boak wasn't bad, but it's all Adelaide. Laird. And then Brown from a standing start. He had to stand under it and wait. Tom Lynch marks. He's too far out to score, but they need quick entry. That's a good kick to centre half forward. It's in the hands of Paholke. And just game number 3, a youngster from Sorrento. Sets it up to a dangerous area. Walker climbs. Gibbs went flashing through, unable to take it with him. Westhoff good. And hits up Charlie Dixon at half-back.
Oh, beautiful work by the Hoff. Gave it to Dixon. Just kicked it high up and under. It doesn't favour Port Adelaide in the air. Can they win it at ground level? Crows had the numbers. Jack Watts comes in. Little toe poke forward, then a little fresh airy second time around. Boat brought down a big, big tackle. And he's gone. Didn't have a lot of time. Free kick to the Crows here at halfback. Go to Joe Kelly. They keep their 17-point lead here, the Power. If you're just joining us, 17 gone on the Ray White clock in this last quarter. And short to Matt Crouch. Says, come at me. As he chips one further afield to young Paholke, just inside the boundary line. Between halfback and wing. And the Crows just can't get off the chain here. That one on the half volley into the middle of the ground to Gibbs. Back to Talia. Switch right across the ground, the Crows. To Otten. Using every dimension at the moment here, Adelaide. To Brown. A little short ball to Atkins. Marks just in front of the interchange. As Seatsman comes back on. The Spitwater high pressure cleaners. Now the kick towards half forward. Ebert flew, couldn't take the mark. At the back winds to Jonas. Not his best left boot on that occasion, Tom Jonas. Out of bounds on the full, and it'll be a free kick to Adelaide.
So we're coming up to 19 minutes in this last quarter on the Ray White clock. The lead is still 17 for Port Adelaide. Atkins back to the attacking area. Fisted away in Houston. Off by hand to Homps. Hits a good target. And who better to hit up than the 6-goal hero, Robbie Gray. He waits and waits, allows Dixon to arrive. He had a couple to beat, and those two Adelaide players won it out. Duday excellent to Atkins on the wing. Inboard kick marked by Greenwood, can share with Gibbs. He didn't have a lot to go to, and then the handball to Laird wasn't great. He was taken out of it. Port Adelaide hunting after this football. Powell Pepper rampant. Tackle on Gibbs. Tackle on Talia. Eventually out the back, Douglas through the middle. He's kicking out into space. Jenkins has got a one-on-one. He's been barely sighted since this first quarter. Good defensive play from Jonas. He wears him like a second skin. He takes him towards the boundary line, and he gets the result he was after.
Oh, he's got to love Tom Jonas, Ken Higley Wakes.
He's ever dependable. He'll give you that left one out on the full every now and then, but God.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
He gives you effort every week.
I remember that. Oh, listen to the power crowd. They can sense something good. Scoreboard has been stagnant for at least 7 minutes here. And a free kick is going to be paid. It'll go the way of Port Adelaide. Big tackle by Rockcliffe, and he's got a 50 here. Gee, credit to Tom Rockcliffe, Wakes.
Massive.
He's played his part.
He's had a very good game. I'm so pleased for him. There needs to be credit to the coaching group that they put him back. They would have hated doing it.
Right as deep. He's going to go in that Paddy direction. Can he get a lift? Not quite. Need scouting the pack. He lays another big tackle, Jake Need. Oh, he's a tackling machine in this last quarter. Ball held up. Port fans wanted holding the ball. They get one here, the power. That might just be all she wrote for Adelaide, who can't score at the other end. He's Seedsman. Able to get hold of the loose footy. Gee, going back with a flight with a bit of courage there was Homsch. Now Jonas looking to mop up at ground level. Houston gets it over the boundary line. We'll have it tossed in. Score check 13-11-89 the power. The Crows 11-6-72. Toyota Good for Footy scoreboard, and of course their Good for Footy program supporting all the local clubs out there, and the power might just be able to break this run of outs in the showdown.
Only 3 goals in this last quarter, so it could be a short quarter at this rate. 21.5 minutes played on the Ray White clock. Adelaide have just got no flow. Crouch from a standing start. It's the kick to a one-on-one. Good mark taken by the skipper, Walker. Too far out to score, but plays on quickly. Atkins has got the sit. The kick, he couldn't mark on the full. He wants to get back onto his left foot. He's under pressure. McGovern went without it. Certainly hasn't been his biggest night compared to last week. Watts at half-back. Then Need. Eventually Darcy Byrne-Jones just hacks it out of the area on the left boot. Talia unable to mark. He'll get a second opportunity, but as soon as he does, he's wrapped up. Rockcliffe's got him. Could have been holding the ball, and it wasn't. Gibbs kicked forward, but only as far as Byrne-Jones for Port Adelaide.
It goes in short to Houston. Around the grounds, Bulldogs 3-2-20. The Lions 1-1-7 at Etihad Stadium. A little short ball up the line here to Jack Watts. Here it's the power by 17 points. He's turning on the radio, trail by 21 points at half-time. A huge third quarter from the power of the showdown. Right now they're holding sway. Short ball to Rockcliffe. Wines, he hugs the boundary line with the kick. He's off hands. He'll go over. We'll have it thrown in around 70 metres from the Port Adelaide goal. AFL Nation for the McDouble burger for only $3 at Macca's. Our good friends at Liquorland, we've got a drink for that. Umpire tosses it back in again. Jacobs, won it down. Westhoff got the kick. High one. Inside forward 50. Good luck trying to mark that one. Here's Talia at the back. Oaks sweating on him. Lays the tackle. Wingard just overran it. Powell Pepper in the mix as well. Pressure aplenty. And then he extracted it, Powell Pepper. Got it to a one-on-one, only 20 metres out. Robbie Gray, could he kick 7? Just couldn't get clear of Kelly, who defends for his life down there. And now Port Adelaide, the Crows rather through Seedsman and McKay, will run this footy out. And they've just got to be brave from here and go Adelaide.
And it didn't hit a target, but McGovern made it work and then flares it out wide to Lynch. Gee, Jake Kelly, he'd be the most nervous man in South Australia right now, wouldn't he? One-on-one with Gray inside 50. That's not my idea of fun.
No.
Otten at right half back, sees Gibbs up ahead. He snuck in off the interchange gates, kicks it off the ground. Not a bad decision in the end. Betts got it. Eddie Marks, 30 metres out directly in front. Lucks a fortune, but the Crows need a bit of that at the moment.
Clever by Gibbs. If he'd taken possession, he would have been under the pump.
Eddie wastes no time. He sets home his third. And importantly for Adelaide, the margin is back to 11 points. 13-11-89 are the Power, the Crows 12-6-78 on the Toyota Good for Footy scoreboard.
Plenty of football left. It really has evened up this game. Both possessions, inside 50s, 48-47. Port Adelaide leading the way, really have pulled things back. 24 scoring shots to 18 now. And Port Adelaide, what an effort to get back to that position, but so much football left to play.
Darryl Wakeman with all the Simmons Homes numbers since 1949. Port by 11 points. Not sure where this one rates, but Showdown 44 has been highly entertaining. There's a big tackle by Trevor Spoke. The skipper on Rory Laird puts him into the turf. Umpire says, I'll take it.
And what an effort by Jake Kelly down on that one-on-one with Robbie Gray 2 minutes earlier.
Jacobs down to Greenwood, who can kick it forward here for the Crows into open space at half forward. Good mark by Lynch. Little low spearing ball into Walker. And we know he can make the journey from just outside 50 Tex if he can get onto it. Oh, and this just had a huge element of interest if he kicked the goal here at the 26-minute mark of the final quarter of the showdown. Can he kick a big captain's goal? Tex Walker thumps it from 50. It'll get the journey. It's got the accuracy. Oh, there's still a pulse for the Crows. The Coates Hire goal of the day contender. 13-11-89 the Power, 13-6-84 the Crows. This one is going down to the wire.
Over that 5 minutes, Paddy Ryder was off. 2 goals straight. They're getting the troops together. They've got the A-grade midfield in there, Port Adelaide. Going against the absolute A-grade midfield of Adelaide, led by Jacobs. We've got Gibbs, Crouch and Greenwood. Head-to-head with Wines, Ryder, Rockcliffe and Powell Pepper. Doesn't get any better than that.
1 minute and 51 seconds remaining. AFL Nation for Liquorland. We've got a drink for that. Yes. Greenwood got it out of the middle with strength. Kicks to a populated area. Free kick, Port Adelaide against Gallucci. It was almost a mark to McGovern, and it's Wingard's ball from centre half back. Gee, that's a risky kick into the middle. And the mark has been paid to Crouch. Adelaide need a mark and they need a goal. McGovern! He came charging out from the goal square. He's no stranger to kicking match winners for Adelaide. Here's another opportunity with 1 minute remaining. 5 goals last week. Only the one today. But this to put Adelaide back in front in the most dramatic of twists. He's done it! He has done it! A remarkable game of football that we are seeing. And it's the Crows who take the lead by 1 point with 42 seconds remaining.
Last 3 goals of the game, Adelaide. What an incredible effort. They looked all but out of it. Huge kudos to this Adelaide midfield. They may have taken Paddy Ryder off a little bit too early.
Wow. Didn't see the last little twist coming here for the McDouble burger for only $3 at Macca's. Liquorland, we're going to drink for that. All the action on AFL Nation. Terrible bounce by the umpire. He's probably got the shakes in there. 40, what do we got, Jack? 40
exactly.
40 exactly. Port have got to go from here. G. Greenwood, he has been huge. Doesn't go very far though. Wines gathered back of the square. Long kick towards half forward. Ball spills. Now Motlop. Can he dart around a couple? Straightens at 40. Motlop! Can you believe it? Oh, this is an unbelievable game of football.
Put the house down. Ha ha.
14-11-95 the power. The Crows 14-6-90. Toyota good for footy scoreboard.
How about the effort from Jakey Need? Come out, it was the 3-on-1. He just had to make a contest. He split it. We see looks to be an Adelaide Crows player down.
It's Mitch McGovern, I think, by the looks of it. He and Douglas went back with the flight. What a contest.
Got the numbers back, Port Adelaide.
21 seconds left.
Could be another little...
Adelaide must take it out of the middle and they must kick a goal. Here we go. Ryder palms it down. Wines leads Greenwood to the ball. He got an important handball off to Polek. They're home now, Port Adelaide. Robbie Gray maintains possession on the wing. Just handballs out into space. Clock ticking down. Gray follows up. Need lost possession out the back. It's with Seedsman. Siren sounds. That is one that we won't forget anytime soon. Port Adelaide were down. They were out. And they found a way to win by 5 points. Unbelievable. Shaking our heads.
So better lie down, Jack.
I need to go to Liquorland. We cannot believe what we've just seen.
Wow.
That was a game where Adelaide were 21 points up at halftime, and they were in control. And we were starting to wonder, well, it might be Adelaide by how many? We were starting to talk about what it was like in round 20 last year. And Port Adelaide just found a way.
It was ecstasy from Port Adelaide. It was then agony. And then that last roll of the dice and ecstasy again. Who would have thought? Motlop. Wow.
In many ways, if Port Adelaide hadn't lost this and gone to 4-4, they're in a pack. They would have been around that 11th or 12th.
Yeah. Massive. Absolutely massive for their season.
Massive. It gets belief back in the structure. Gets belief back in individuals. So happy for Tommy Rockcliffe. Powell Pepper, we knew Powell Pepper and Rockcliffe would potentially edge a quarter BP.
Well, they've had, 20 more contested. In 4 of their last 5, they've lost the contested possession stat.
Well, you called them inclusions, didn't you? You said them inclusions of Rockcliffe and Powell Pepper may have balanced it the right way. Saying that was a nice little gift for Sloane to be out for Port Adelaide supporters. But what a game of football.
Incredible stuff. Let's have a look at the goal kickers. Robbie Gray was the hero for Port Adelaide. 6 goals. 5 of them came in the third quarter. That just sounds ridiculous when you say it like that.
Yeah.
A couple of goals to Paddy Ryder and 2 to Chad Wingard as well. And then singles to Boak, Powell Pepper, Motlop and Sam Gray. as both teams wait for the showdown medal. It can only really go to one man. For Adelaide, Betts kicked 3, 2 to Alice Yeoman, 2 to McGovern and 2 to Walker. Singles to Lynch, Douglas, Atkins, Seedsman and Jenkins. It was the Crows by 17 points at quarter time, 21 points at half time. Port Adelaide hit the front and led by 12 points at three-quarter time, and in the end, Darryl Wakelin, in front of 50,967, Port Adelaide win by 5 points.
Yeah, incredible game of football. We come to these showdowns, we come expecting a lot, don't we? And but we never expect something very special for Port Adelaide fans. But I mean, a huge effort by Adelaide, really, to be playing with the like we said, 6 or 7 of their best players out, and to be able to keep structuring up like they had, like they have, quite incredible. Jake Kelly, huge effort in that last quarter, kept them in it. Could have been the game winner for them. That incredible. But for them to come back, it was, like you said, 21 points down. They kicked that last 3 goals, straight kicks, still tough kicks. Betts from 40 metres, Walker from 55, McGovern in the last minute from 45, and they did not deviate. Outstanding effort. Outstanding effort.
I think the PA is just having a bit of a problem here.
Maybe.
The crowd can't really hear what's going on, but the showdown medal's about to be awarded.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get a bit of an idea what's going on. Robbie Gray it is. 6 goals for Robbie Gray to go with 20 disposals, 5 marks, 5 clearances, and a partridge in a pear tree. A phenomenal individual performance.
Well, they got the match up late. They got it right late with Kelly, and they were trying to cover a few spots there.
Robbie Gray just saying a few words to the crowd.
3rd time he's won the showdown medal.
It's just a remarkable player, isn't he?
Yep. Absolute star of the competition.
Won 3 of their last 4, best and fairest.
Yep.
All Australian 3 of the last 4 years.
A game that, Wakes is played at such high intensity these days, and goal kicking's in question. I mean, you want the ball in the hands of Robbie Gray.
You do.
The guys have got that polish.
Yep.
To think he come back from that ACL that he had from 5 years ago, quite incredible. To come out and win the best and fairest he has.
That is a huge win for Port Adelaide. Live ladder as it stands at the moment. And this is how much of a game changer this win was. Port Adelaide now move to 7th on the table, 5 wins and 3 losses. And it gives them separation from the Giants, Geelong, who play tomorrow, North Melbourne, who play tomorrow, Collingwood as well. So that's the difference. And for Adelaide, they maintain 3rd for now.
Yep.
And they will probably stay 3rd by the end of the round, by the looks of it.
And head to China next week to take on the Gold Coast, who are just showing signs of a team that's been on the road for quite some time. Thumped by the Demons by 69 points. And, huge opportunity for the Power in front of a sellout crowd over at Adelaide, what do they call it? Adelaide Arena, I think, over in Shanghai.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Let's have a look at our awards from today. So many great performances that we want to highlight. We'll start with the Rookie of the Day for MEGT, your local apprenticeship experts. Who was our youngster, boys, that caught our eye?
Oh, we had Hugh Greenwood would probably be that guy. I mean, incredible effort, especially that first half. That last 3 minutes, he nearly got them over the line with a couple clearances. He's had the 15 disposals. Young Doody, he had another very, very good game with 15 disposals. He just keeps rebounding like he does. He gets the contested possessions. For Port Adelaide, probably some young Tom Cleary still finding his way. Still did some good work down back. But even throw a Dan Houston or a Bonner. Bonner was outstanding through that 3rd quarter. Really did lock down and get some huge rebounds. So some good efforts there.
Hiring apprentices or trainees, MEGT makes it easy. Probably no shock what our Bendix Brakes big moment's going to be. Fit Bendix Brakes at your next service.
Well, yeah, there's some massive. I mean, if Adelaide had got up, you could have picked any three of them goals that they kicked. Betts, Walker, and McGovern. But you got to give it to Motlop really in the end. Cut through traffic. He come from nowhere. Not a massive game, but certainly getting back up to what we're used to from Motlop with 20 possessions.
Well, he's there for the big moments, isn't he?
He is.
And you want him to be more consistent. Everyone's been crying out for that from Motlop for a big part of his career. But the guys who can just take the footy in the heat of the moment and have that class and polish, and he's a game changer, Motlop. That's what he needs to be.
Yes, and he just needs to keep in games.
Yeah,
and because he's such an amazing player that he does tend to drift. But 3 shots on goal and 20 possessions. That's a very good game for him, and what a way to finish the game.
The tackler of the day for Makita's cordless power garden range. Who chalked up big numbers? Wakes, I think you mentioned Hugh Greenwood at halftime would be in the running for that one.
Yeah, he had some massive. He was 11 tackles. Tommy Rockcliffe we spoke about as well. What a terrific effort as well with 9. Alice Yeoman also featuring with 7, along with Need and Wines, and some pretty special tackles by Needy who really kept them in that game in that last half.
Makita's cordless power garden range, when power means business. The coach of the day for car sales. The car sells every minute on car sales. Interested to get an idea about where you sit with this one, because I'd imagine the conversation now is very different to what it was at half time.
Yeah, look, it's a total reversal, wasn't it, really? And you wanting the 3-2-1 yet, Jackie, or you?
Not just yet.
Not yet?
Cool your jets for now.
Just building it up, Wakes.
Yeah, I mean, Was
there a decisive move, though?
I believe
maybe swung.
I believe the overall just lockdown basic game plan. Adelaide are so good when they get that couple spare going, and Port Adelaide just didn't have the foot speed to be able to go with them and defend them. So their ability to lock down, give everyone a job.
Yep.
I think the big move of the day was the move on Crouch. He only had 4 disposals in that third quarter. Ollie Wines having most of him, along with Pau Pepper. They were doing the rotation on him, and I think that was probably the key matchup, key move.
The goal of the day for Coates Hire. Who's your favourite?
Yeah, before Motlop kicked that last one, I had to give it to Eddie Betts in that pocket. What an incredible off one step, opposite foot, and such a crucial point of the game. But you've got to give it to Motlop for the finish that he had.
For Coates Hire, let's make it happen. Glenn Cameron can do mark of the day.
I'd probably go Paddy Ryder in the pocket here in that second quarter, and third quarter. Outstanding, just sat right on Jacob's head and just casually went around and did around the body for 40 metres out. So that was outstanding.
Now we want your 3, 2 and 1 for the South Wales Player of the Day. $9.50 fixed fee ASX trades.
Yeah, look, I couldn't go without Rory Laird in the vote, so he's probably unlucky not to be best on ground, but I'll give him the 1 vote. I'll give Tommy Rockcliffe with 31 disposals, 12 contesters, and as we said, 7 tackles, the 2 votes. But I will have to, he was the difference, Robbie Gray. He was outstanding with his 21 disposals. He's had 9 contested, but as we said, the 6-goal straight and could have maybe had another couple, but for the amazing effort of Jake Kelly in that last quarter. Special mentions also to Atkins. Crouch had an amazing first half. He was 19 disposals and then only 8 in that last half, so being well held. Gibbs was around the mark as well with 24 disposals, and Ollie Wines with 26 and 7 clearances, 13 contested possessions. There's some very good players out in the ground.
Yep.
5 of the 7 goals, BP, in the third quarter came from Robbie Gray.
Jack, I'll tell you what, I need a Barocca or something, because this is it just reinforces why we love this game. And sometimes the state of the game gets questioned, and it's a game that will go through all these different stages throughout the course of a season, when people don't like the footy and people absolutely love the footy, but it had pressure. Yep. It had just moments of brilliance, all the unique factors of Australian rules football that we love growing up in this country.
And then you get a winning goal in the last 20 seconds of the game. Incredible.
Crows have got an interesting fortnight with the Bulldogs here next week on Friday night footy. and then Melbourne at Traeger Park. So,
and that Melbourne game won't be easy.
No.
But out here, you expect them to tick that box next week. But at Traeger Park in Alice against, who knows? Let's just hope they don't have any more injuries. I think they've ended up okay out of tonight, but that's certainly something that they don't need.
They're always going to maybe just come back to the pack. I mean, you make the grand final last year. I mean, there's maybe a little bit of an extra focus on you. It's tough. I mean, tough to defend your premiership, but if you're runner-up, it's also tough to get back there, as history has proven. So, not much in it.
No, there's not. And mentally, so tough for these guys to get back up again when, they were such red-hot favourites going into that grand final. So, but they've done everything they can in all their pre-seasons and just mentally challenging these guys. And, they're well placed. They're well placed.
Quarter time at Etihad Stadium. It's the Bulldogs by a couple of points. Wakes, that's us done and dusted here from what was an unbelievable night at the Adelaide Oval.
It was an incredible night, and as we said, 51,000 majority Port Adelaide supporters saw their team get up. It was just an incredible win. One of the great showdowns.
They'll go home happy. BP, lovely to share the box with you tonight. An unbelievable game of footy, wasn't it?
Oh, it was an absolute beauty. Might have to run the ball. Oh, or maybe not. What do you reckon?
Oh, don't wear your Adelaide jumper if you are.
No, just go somewhere very quiet.
On behalf of all of the team here at the Adelaide Oval, we're signing off. Up next, we'll take you to Etihad Stadium. Tristan Fernanda and Terry Wallace standing by for the Dogs and the Lions.